And now, 3, 2, 1. So, Junior,
Hello.
welcome to the podcast.
Great.
We're actually finally here doing this.
You took like a year, didn't it?
It took a while. I'm not sure quite how long, but it was.
Longer than my
It
dad
did
coming
take a
back.
little while.
Swear
So, we're here. Topic that we're down to discuss today is gay male sex work.
Just a better way of saying I'm a whore.
And I suppose homosexuality and sex work in general as well. Why don't we start off actually, Junior? What age did you first realise that you were gay? How did that happen?
It was 15 actually, when I met my first pimp.
Oh my god! So you went straight in at the deep end.
I mean, no, not really. Like, I started when I was 17. So that was like a solid 2 years. So we were like,
Right.
we were charmed and good. We were like watching like good animated TV shows, and then we turned 17, and that's when shit went a bit weird. And I turned into a massive dick sucker, but in a nice way.
That is that's one way to say it. So was there any sort of inner conflict from societal pressures, family, stuff like that when you first discovered you were gay, like up till the point of like coming out?
I mean, let's be real. I moved out my mum's when I was 15. Yeah, 15. She fucking hated it. So I moved with my dad. Obviously, he's a fucking alky with fucking bipolar and shit. So moved out of that one. And then,
So was this something that they discovered, or did you kind of approach them and come out of the closet?
No, they had a running bet on it. So my mum my mum was obviously, she was like, I'm not taking any part in this and all this shit. So I was like, right, okay, cool. And I found out later, my sister, she had a £50 bet on it, and my dad had a £100 bet on it. My sister thought I wasn't, my dad did. Bear in mind, he then also won 150 quid. So we know how that turned out, didn't we?
What about other things then? Like, so by the sounds of that, would you say that the fact that you are homosexual, that you're gay, has that had like a negative impact on your life in family and?
No, so there's a lot of things family-wise had more of a negative impact than me coming out as a raging fag. Like, if we put it in a nicest way, like, my parents' divorce was obviously one massive thing, and then obviously...
Do you feel responsible for your parents' divorce in some way? You feel that contributed to their...
That was drawn in my head, yeah.
Yeah?
That was drawn in my head as I was the problem. He left because it was... my mum didn't want to take in that she cheated on my dad numerous times, and then it was my dad left because of me and all of this, so I was getting like conflicting things against that.
Yeah, okay. So what about other stuff, like, aside from in the home, just in society in general, like, because obviously that's quite a young age, 15 and 17 years old, both of them, like, you're still in school and stuff. Did it have an impact on your school life and your social development, friends?
If I'm going to be real, I didn't really turn up school. Because when my things broke down between my mum and my dad, obviously he moved to Aylesbury to be with, not Aylesbury, Tring, sorry, to be with my sister. So obviously he lived there. He then got his own place and that. And then obviously I had to like stay up there for like months at a time, because when my mum found out that I was talking to my dad, obviously she didn't want me around. So obviously I would have to trick between Essex and coming up to Tring. So obviously I would miss months at a time at school. And with
coming from a fatherless household, it was hard for your mum to control you getting to school and stuff like that.
This is the thing. My mum had a fucking happy ass childhood. Like, her mum and dad, like, she spoke to them and that. They were all chill. My nan was a bit of a bitch, I'm not going to lie. So I get that's where, you get the trait of being a massive bitch. But like my granddad, before obviously he passed, obviously he was the best kind of person you can be. But it was just the nan that was a bit of a raging bitch.
Okay. So would you say then that the fact you're gay may have contributed in some way, or at least you feel that, to like the family unit breaking down, and then that's had a knock-on effect to school and not turning up? Do you think that's now affected like your career prospect? Do you think it's harder for people that are homosexual in this?
Oh no, 100%. That's okay. It could be I don't know the word. you know, to a couple of the people who are like saying, "Oh, I can't get a job because I'm gay." Like I've had many jobs where I can get it, and I've had to obviously.
But I mean, like career factors, because if it's had an impact on your education and the grades that you've got, that has an implication on like what kind of careers you can do. So it's kind of being like a setback.
No, I feel like the major setback was because obviously where I've had to lug from 2 different locations, and then straight after my GCSEs, where I knew I didn't do good, I had to pack up everything and move within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like that was...
Yeah, I can relate to a degree because we moved around a lot when I was young, and it kind of like broke up school patterns and stuff like that. It wasn't very helpful. But let's get into it then. Let's get into it. So, gay sex, like sex work in the gay community, like how does that happen, right? How do you source clients? Is it on Grindr? Is it on...
It's Grindr and a couple other apps. I mean, when, you know, I first moved, because I moved out of my dad's house twice. So when he had a mental breakdown, I got assaulted, so I moved into a hostel for 5 months.
Right.
That was when I first started it, and that was mainly Grindr. So obviously that was just creepy old guys who'd want to like do shit with a younger person for money. So I was like, right, okay, that's cool. And then obviously I moved back in, stopped it. When I moved back out, obviously I worked for a little while, and then...
When you say work, do you mean just actual legitimate jobs?
Yeah, so I worked like Costco, I worked bars and that, and then I needed a job because obviously during lockdown I obviously kind of lost my job at Costco, so I was like, I need a job. So, right, okay, I know I can do this again. So I started it, and then, yeah, it's kind of like trickled down to finding other apps and kind of... Yeah.
Can you speak to which other apps they are? Because obviously I've heard of Grindr, I don't really know what kind of apps, and I'm sure a lot of the people that might or might not view this...
The main one is one called Sleepy Boys, where it's you can find fucking any man you want on there. Like, you can be from fucking, you know... 20 and looking like you've been beat up by a radio to fucking 90 and not knowing how your penis works. You can find anyone on there, fucking any price you want.
So, would you say that do you get, so let's talk about this, right? What about pricing? Because I'll give you a little bit of an anecdote. Actually, the way we met, me and my girlfriend were going down to Brighton, and she was texting you on Snapchat, right?
Yeah, she was.
And you were going to suck a dick for chicken nuggets.
Which I did.
Yeah.
And
so how do you price it? How does this work with pricing? Is there like set prices for someone like you? Obviously, you're not someone who has a pimp, for clarity.
No.
You've just freelance, go and do gay male sex work of your own accord.
This time I didn't have a pimp. I thought, fuck it, let's see how it works out doing it on my own. Bear in mind, I've had 2 before, and that didn't end up very well. One time I ended up in a white van in the middle of East London, but we won't talk about that one. But you know, it's the experience. It's, you know, going out on your own, being like, fuck it, let's see what happens, and you get some weird experiences. And pricing, you know, I charge 50 an hour because, you know, you don't want to be like any of the people in London charging 1,000.
So yeah, there's hierarchies to it. I think in all models of sex work, I don't know how it works in the gay community. I don't really know too well how it even works in the straight community, to be honest with you. But so pricing aside, okay, you said not having a pimp that time. So you have had pimps before?
I've had 2.
You've had 2 pimps?
Yeah.
Could you speak to that at all?
One was a very large problem to how it all started. So that was obviously when I first moved out, obviously 17, 5 months, and obviously he called me at a very low period, and obviously I was dealing with everything that had just happened, and then having to figure out how to live on my own in a hostel in the middle of Berkhamsted, and having to deal with, you know, what's going to happen now. And obviously he found me at a very low point, and that didn't really end up well, because, you know, you think life's
was there violence involved?
No, but there was a couple times where you find yourself drugged out in the middle of a fucking house in the middle of nowhere kind of thing.
Right.
Like when you don't remember taking it. And then obviously dropped him. That was a bit difficult, but managed to do it. And then moved back and then had another one. I mean,
second pimp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second pimp was actually alright, to be fair. Like, don't get me wrong, if you didn't end up in prison, then like, who knows what would happen. But stupid people get caught with a load of drugs. So
there you go. So monogamy in gay relationships, gay male relationships.
what are you talking like?
I'm asking the question, how does that work? Is there monogamy, or is there less monogamy, more monogamy? Do you have some anecdote, some insight to share?
What, as in just
Are you monogamous?
Am I? There's a couple times where I've cheated on the guy out of revenge, don't get me wrong. But extreme circumstances, don't get me wrong, I'll do some extreme shit. But there's a couple times where you've ended up in shitty situations.
But you believe in monogamy?
Yeah, I do.
And what about stuff like polyamory and stuff like that? Is that something you think's more or less prevalent in the gay community, or to the same proportions as straight people?
There's a lot of bisexual guys that say they're poly. I mean...
But that's bisexual. Bisexual, I think we can understand that they might be more of a call for that, because if you have a taste for two different things, then you can understand why you would have to have more than one partner to satisfy both sexual desires.
Yeah, but I feel like you definitely know,
Well, I'm talking about if you're an expressly just gay man, just in gay relationships, because you're not bisexual,
no,
right? You're gay,
yeah.
And so within the gay community, is monogamy just as ubiquitous, just as common as it is in straight relationships?
It's a mix of both, really. You could get fucking anything you want. Like, about the situation with, not the most recent one, the one before that, obviously, where he was saying that he mostly goes with men, and then obviously, lo and behold, one day, he ends up cheating on me with a woman.
Right.
Which, yeah.
How about for you personally, though? Would you be able to tolerate being with a partner who had a history of sex work?
I can't, to be fair, because I'm in that boat. Obviously, I can't be like, okay, I can't accept you.
Hypocritical.
Yeah, because it's going to be hypocritical.
But you are allowed to be hypocritical, right? There's nothing to stop people being hypocritical. How do you really feel? To try to get to the raw honesty. Would you actually, desirably, if you had the choice, would you be with someone who had done it?
I mean, I feel like at this point, it's like you kind of don't know anyone's story, because if it's like me, then, you've had no choice.
Yeah.
So either you've had no choice, or you're doing it just for the matter of fact of, oh, this earns a lot of money, let me do it. But most people is because you're getting out of a shitty situation. And
in personal thoughts on polyamory and multi-people relationships, was that something you would be interested in, or open relationships, or are you more of a monogamous? That's what you would like.
I'm more monogamous, obviously, because I've had bad experiences.
What about the whole, because it's quite a controversial issue, like gay couples that have children? Would you like to have children one day?
Personally, no, because I'm in that mindset where I'm just like, I've got mental health issues. How do you expect me to balance that? Yeah. And then also try and sort my life out with trying to not trying to get with it.
Do you think there's any link between, not necessarily your sexuality and mental health, but that's a question in and of itself, but a question of the mental health struggles that you face and the demons you have? Is some of that related to your sexuality and how society has demonised homosexuality?
I'd say 50-50. If we're talking about my mental health personally, 50% it was a struggle, because I can't speak on everyone else, but on me, I'm dealing with your mum who don't want to speak to you because you're gay, and then your dad who's
that's what I'm pressing on.
Reformed to being a heavy Christian, because he thought the reason to keep his wife was to OD and end up passed out in a fucking hospital.
Wow.
And then you try and tell him, but he's closed out.
Is that stuff that keeps you up at night?
No, there's a lot of stuff that's kept me up at night, because obviously...
Can you speak to some of that?
There's been a couple situations I won't say, because obviously
that's fine. Don't
go into
anything you're not comfortable with.
Yeah. If we're going to say that.
Okay.
I haven't been caught for them, so we won't speak about that.
Okay.
But one situation I can speak about was obviously having a bit of a breakdown and ended up setting fire to one of my ex's gardens.
Oh, wow.
And being arrested for arson. Wouldn't recommend it. But it happens, life kind of throws shit, and it kind of happens.
Yes, well, shit definitely happens.
there's been a couple times where I've had to phone the police on a couple of clients in the earlier days.
Yeah, this is something I wanted to get to at some point as well. Do you feel like it's dangerous? Do you feel like it's something you have to do, or do you enjoy doing it sometimes? Like, what's the deal with that?
Well?
Yeah.
No, 100% is. It's not saying I know I have to. Like, I know I can kind of survive out of it, but then there's times when you need that money and you're like, okay, cool, it's a thing you can do. You've got to fucking do it.
Even if it's chicken nuggets sometimes.
Okay, so chicken nuggets and cigarettes.
Cigarettes. What's the lowest price you've ever given for a client?
The lowest was actually a pack of cigarettes. Let's be real. The lowest was a pack of cigarettes. Because I needed to smoke and I was like, right, what can I do for a pack of cigarettes? So I was like, fuck it, I'll suck a dick for one.
Oh, Jesus.
And yeah, that happened.
And what's the highest you've priced?
Someone paid me 500.
Wow.
And this is going to be the weirdest fucking thing I'm ever going to say during this whole thing. To have sex with him whilst his girlfriend watches.
Oh, wow.
There
you go, ladies and gentlemen. What can you do?
Yeah, I mean, that was very hard to maintain an erection when you've got a girl trying to watch whilst your butt fucking is,
Yeah,
but
there we go.
Viagra
There we
exists,
go.
guys.
So another thing I was going to talk about. So you're a top, right?
Yeah.
So top and bottom dynamics in gay relationships. How does this work? Like, explain, because a lot of people don't realise there even is top and bottoms. They won't even know what these words mean. Can you describe what top and what bottom means?
Firstly, you've got to get it's top, bottom, and then there's verse, and there's new one I actually just learned, which is side.
Right.
So,
okay.
Top, you only give it. Bottom, you only just.
So the top is a person that
fucks a bottom.
That fucks the man.
Putting it a nice way.
But does this work with oral sex as well, or is that kind of?
It depends. Some tops are just like, oh, I hate giving head, so you're like, okay, cool, so you're a pussy. And then you've got people like me, like I like giving head. Like sometimes it's fun to do. Like I'm very much like I'm a top, but like I can say I don't fuck a bottom all the time because. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fucking chronic smoker and I'm unhealthy. Fucking 5 minutes in, I'm on the floor trying to catch my breath. Like, you can't do it. Especially with my bed, it's broken. Like, I've done it over a traffic cone a couple of times.
Oh, wow.
I'm still out of breath fucking 20 minutes into that shit. But no, then you've got verse, and they're just like...
Right, top. Right, we've done top.
Yeah.
Bottom is...
They only take it.
They only take it, right?
Yeah.
And bottoms may or may not accept blowjobs as well.
Some do, some don't. Some see it as they don't accept it because some are like really kinky where they say... My penis is like doesn't ever want to be touched and all this shit. It's utterly a bit bullshit, really. But
right, and then verse. What's verse? That
where you
is that an abbreviation of like versatile?
Right. Mix of top and bottom.
Okay, and what's this new one then that you've brought?
Side. So I figured this out. Can I actually get the proper enunciation on it?
Yeah,
because,
go for it.
It's a new one I learned literally 2 days ago.
Right.
Right, what if I can put...
while you're looking for that, I'll just...
Before you die, I actually just found it.
You found it, go on.
It's basically a guy that doesn't actually enjoy anal, he just only enjoys giving head.
Oh, right.
So basically, I could have really done without Googling searching that one, because now my phone's fucked.
So, in your experience as a gay male, and who's obviously been a sex worker and whatnot, how prevalent is it that people that are in straight relationships or that have girlfriends, at least not out of the closet, or that are genuinely straight, how many of them are out there engaging in sexual acts with gay men?
Oh, at least 50%.
50%?
Yeah.
As high as that, as what from the people you know in your personal
From my experience, I've done a lot of married men with women.
Mm-hmm.
People with girlfriends.
So you're saying as in clients, so 50% of the clients are probably...
Clients and non-clients.
Clients and non-clients,
yeah.
Both. You say it's equal proportions from clients and non-clients?
I could definitely do like if we do like, let's say I have sex from a Tuesday to let's say the next Tuesday, so let's say a week.
Yep.
From that time you can have at least half of that being just strictly gay bisexual men.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it could be people that are down low, that are in married relationships, or they're in relationships with women and they want to try it.
Yeah.
And most of the time it does leave you in a very, very bad situation.
Yeah. Have you ever tried having sex with a woman?
No.
You ever even thought about it?
No, so it's never really.
So you said you kind of realised that you were gay at 15 years old earlier. So like I'm just thinking from my own experience and from like, you know, like as a guy who's got a lot of friends and that, was like I think most people like kind of have at least been sexually excited and aroused way before the age of 15. So what's that process between not knowing and knowing? Was there a period of uncertainty as you developed?
Yeah, so a woman obviously tried to grope me, and obviously I nearly threw her up in the middle of a car park. So that's when I knew something was wrong, because I was like, okay, like, this isn't right. Like, if a woman tries to start you, you're obviously going to try and be into it. And, you know, not throw up in a car park. And then obviously I watched... Do you remember the film Fight Club?
Yes.
Yeah, I watched that and I got
Great
a raging erection. And I was like, right, okay, this definitely, like...
What age are we talking about here? We get an erection to Fight Club. Wow. And which person walked to Brad Pitt?
This was
covered in blood.
At 15, watching Fight Club. And coincidentally, it was when he was covered in blood shirtless. So that's when I was saying it was fucking wrong. And I was like, right, okay, let's just see how this turns out. So we watched a couple other films with like men are shirtless and that, and then it just kept on happening. Watched a couple of films where women are like obviously are shirtless and nothing happened there. So I was like, right, okay, so obviously we know how it's going to turn out. And I was like, right, okay, now I need to tell my fucking family. How are we going to do this shit? Like, we've got a manic 5'4" woman that looks like a butch lesbian. And we've got
who are we talking about here?
My mother. It's right, I'm allowed to speak about that. I've not spoke to her in like 5 years. And then we've got obviously a big fat bald man, my father, who's trying to be a devout Christian. And then we've got my sister in the middle who looks like she smoked about 6 pounds of meth.
Wow.
And then so obviously then you find out when you've come out that they've got a brother bet.
Well, so much for sisterly love, paternal and maternal love as well.
It's fine. She like, to be fair, I say this about her, but then I do have to give her kudos. Like, obviously, going back to the whole childhood thing, she was the main one that raised me. Like,
and do you feel like do you feel like she did a good job? Do you love your mother at all, despite these things that you say and the gulf between?
I will say this. From when I left and from now, the only interaction we've had is during arguments.
Do you think that being rejected by your parents for having come out and not having their support has left like a kind of void in you that's made it more likely for you to feel like you go into stuff like sex work, or at least have a more cynical view on the world?
I feel like it's definitely going to be, when I...
Because first, like I've got a troubled relationship with my parents as well, and like, you know, you kind of see people that have a lot more of a cushy, close-knit family, and they seem... You know, there is something to be said about people that don't get the support and the love of their parents, their family, and it leads them to kind of be cynical or bitter, and not only that, but to be able to do things that, because obviously, clearly, you've gone fully embraced, going down a line, a life direction.
But there's like,
which is almost a middle finger to your parents, right?
I mean, yeah, but then it's also like a lot of stuff as well. Like, I don't think, obviously, you guys don't know. Like, obviously, there was a time when I went through a fucking... I don't want to say like public, but it was very public knowledge. I went through a full-blown fucking mental breakdown. Like, I'm talking fucking... I didn't speak to anyone. I was fucking doing drugs 6 days a week. I was drinking. I was having breakdowns. I got sectioned 3 times. And then you find out fucking right after, obviously, everything got sorted and you get yourself a job, you get a call from your sister going, yeah, I've known the whole time you're having a mental breakdown. I got sent a video of you sucking a dick for money.
Oh, wow.
And then
so you've been exposed. You've been a victim of revenge porn as well.
Multiple times.
Wow. So there's a lot in there, what you just said. So mental health in and of itself... how much of the mental health issues do you feel were related to the drug use? Like, can you speak to the dangers of drugs at all? How much of the drug use was to do with the rejection from your family?
I mean, I know that people say obviously like.
Because I'm trying to basically, for people that might be interested in the subject, trying to get around to how perhaps the demonisation of homosexuality is leading to people rejecting their own children, to them not being accepted, to that leading to drug use and mental health and a myriad of other troubles. And like, you know, maybe your story can actually be powerful to people to think about it.
I mean, like, yeah, firstly I'm going to say obviously drug use is bad, yeah, okay. But if we're looking at just my story and we're just like cutting out the fucking middleman and we're just focusing on mine.
Which we are.
You know, you're feeling alone and you're having to move from place to place to place because you know, you don't know where the hell you belong. And then next minute, you know, you're having a mental breakdown, you don't know who you've got. This is before, obviously, I met you, before I met Chris and that. This was when I really had barely anyone. And then, you know, you kind of have a public mental breakdown. You move into a place in Watford. And then, you know, that roommates there easily have access to drugs. Easily have access to alcohol. You have a mental breakdown. You know that it's either going to be, you can continue this and you can end up in a fucking coffin 6 feet under, and everyone's just like, okay, cool, that's that problem gone. Or you can turn to drugs and alcohol.
Wow, that's really dark. So if you were to end up dead, you'd feel like it was a lot of other people's problems gone, man. That's a dark place to be.
I mean, it's not really a dark place, it's a reality. If we're looking at it from this way, it's like you grew up in a dysfunctional family.
But for that to be your reality, a lot of people in the world would feel like that is a fucking really dark burden and weight to carry on your shoulders.
Oh yeah, it's 100%.
How much of this do you think relates back to your sexuality and the unacceptance of your parents?
Oh, at least like 50%.
At least half of it.
Yeah,
right? So that's a lot.
The other half is because obviously where your mum couldn't accept that.
No, so your mum's acceptance, I don't want to cut you off though, but like anything to do with your mum's acceptance or any of that is 50% of it, you're saying, right? What's the other bit that's not related? What's the other 50% that's not about?
It's mostly the family drama as well, because there's a lot.
So it still comes back to family. It's not.
Yeah, everything revolves around the family. Everything that is mental
This is what I'm getting. So
everything.
So maybe it's 100% of it, right?
Yeah, it could be 100.
But it's not all just 100% of the problems of your family aren't to do with your sexuality. There's other problems anyway, just because of
there's a lot. Like, you know, when your family divorce, you're the youngest one in the family. You are the scapegoat.
Yeah.
You have to then deal with the fact that anything that happens from the time they start the divorce to the time that the shit breaks down, it is your fault, no matter what.
If there was someone who has gone through a similar situation to yourself, you know, who feels like they're on their own, they feel like maybe they feel like they have to do this, maybe a pimp's just approached them, maybe they're just sat around on their phone, Googling and typing some keywords and find this interview, and they're considering going into sex work as a gay man, and they've got troubles and they don't have a support network and they're kind of in that same situation what you've been in, perhaps worse, maybe a little bit better. Have you got anything, what would you say to them? Do you think it's something like, go for it, son?
I would say don't do it, because at the end of the day, if you know, at my age when I started it, and it's just going to lead down a path you don't want to fucking lead down. Like, it's
so you're saying don't do it? Yeah,
don't do it. It's better to get, or try and get the help the best you can. Don't get me wrong, like, it's not great.
And is there any source of help that you've had that you can direct people toward?
I would say friends more than anything. Like, I've tried the mental health facilities, I've tried fucking everything. How even getting section, that it still don't help, because they just put.
Can we speak about that actually? The mental health. Let's do this. Let's go down there. So you've been sectioned, right?
3 times.
3 times, right? Yeah. I'll let, in your own words, what have you got to say about your experience of the National Health Service, mental health services in this country?
Well, a couple of times it was, obviously I was transported to hospital and I was put in this fucking white room with a sofa. Bear in mind, sofa was not comfortable. I don't recommend sitting on it. And then you end up waiting there for fucking hours on end, and then you end up getting transported in some like shitty white van that looks like you've been kidnapped by a bunch of weird people. And then I got like transported from Watford to Hemel to a unit
Hemel
there.
Hempstead, right?
Yeah, and then I got transferred into a unit there, and then you just get put in another white room. They speak to you, and then they just let you out the front doors after fucking 6 hours.
Yeah. So what's the longest you were sectioned?
Longest third time was 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm guessing here that after that happens, then they give you at least some mental health services to engage with after.
They give you leaflets and numbers to call.
Right, and did you ever make use of any of these numbers, or at least reach out?
One time, and this guy blamed, obviously, everything that happened on me. So, obviously, I stopped doing that. I was like, nah, fuck this shit. I'm not getting blamed for everything again.
Oh, wow.
So, then I stopped that, and I was like, well, okay, I can kind of figure out how to kind of do it. And then, yeah.
Trying to figure things out on your own.
Like, I figured it out in the end, but it does take a solid fucking couple years. Don't get me wrong.
So let's go into it. What are the pros and what are the cons of doing sex work?
Pros, money, let's be real. You can get good money from that shit. The cons, your asshole might hurt after, but if you can like numb that pain, you're all good. Right, I need to get my drink. I need to
get your drink, no worries.
I need to pee. Can you pause?
Yeah, we can pause. No worries, I can edit it out. That's fine.
Sorry guys,
She can just come in and disturb.
She can. Right.
So, 3, 2, 1, and we are back.
Hi, sorry, that came out like a fucking faucet.
It came out like a broken faucet. He said it just burst out everywhere. Burst out. So, let's get down to some of the nitty and gritty of this stuff. So, are there things you've ever had to do during sex work you found degrading or that you were disgusted by? And try and get a little bit closer with your face
one
to the mic.
specific thing, sorry, I was trying to smoke a nut.
That's fine. Get smoke on the mic.
One specific thing, I think it was, especially, there was one guy that paid me a lot of money to pretend like I was his son.
Oh, wow.
Walk in on him masturbating and do certain things to him.
Okay. Wow.
That was definitely like a disturbing thing.
Yeah. I mean, disturbed, like... So, and I suppose, not just to go into all of the crazy things, what's the proportion? So how often is it actually a turn on to do these things? How much of this, do you get off on? How much of this do you enjoy sexually yourself?
If I get paid for it, definitely I just do what I need to do, because I'm one of those people where you can fucking cough and I can get an erection. We've been brutally honest right now. So I know that even if I masturbate 2 times, I know that if I need money and someone goes, okay, cool, 50 quid, do this, I'm like, cool, I can come and do it.
So you've never in a scenario where you're getting paid for something, you thought this is a turn on that I'm getting paid, and the kink that particular client or John had was a turn on, and you just got off on it. You would just see it as a job, right? You see it as a transaction.
Yeah, if I get paid for it, it's a job, it's a transaction.
Okay.
Unless I'm not getting paid for it, I'm very picky. If it's personal time and it's something I want to do, then it will be a specific guy, it will be who I want it to look like, what I want to do. And then, although it's not all the time, it's not even the first couple of meets we get into it. Sometimes we chill, smoke, and we drink and that.
So, other than just whether it's transactional or not, what about, because while you went for a wee, Chris brought up something to do with the dangers of it. And it's kind of I suppose I'm thinking how often is it a shady? Well, how often have you felt scared in these situations?
One time, like I mentioned earlier, it was one of the pimps put me. Obviously, I woke up in a white van in the middle of North fucking London.
Yeah.
That was one of the most scariest thing, because obviously you don't remember the night before. You don't know how you fucking ended up there.
You don't know if you consented to everything that occurred, right?
So obviously the main thing you're fucking shooting to is, can you get out? If you can, where's the nearest place you can run to?
Because I'm just looking at you now, you're not a large, physical, muscular guy.
I was worse years before.
Is a lot of the men that you end up doing these things with, are they physically have the physical prowess, they could overpower you and do it. They like do something really
Oh
bad
yeah,
to you if they
100%.
wanted.
They're mostly bigger and physically more able to do shit that I can't do.
But you're also a top, not a bottom, right?
Yeah.
So that's strange in and of itself. Is that like something that's ubiquitous across the gay community? Is there like large, strong men that are viewed that way as a society that secretly have this weird kink that they want to be dominated by like a smaller guy?
It's no secret. There are large, strong men that happily get railed from behind. And bear in mind, they're like fucking 6 foot, built like fucking Shrek or Hulk, and they're getting railed from behind by like 6 skinny twinks. And people fucking enjoy that shit. Like, if you go on like Pornhub or Twitter on that, you see that shit a lot of the time.
I mean, like I'm a hot-blooded male. I have like indulged in porn, and I don't come across that ever.
There's also a lot of straight for pay people as well.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Wow, that's crazy stuff. Can you speak to like what other? If there was going to be 3 experiences you've had that were the best ones, specifically in sex work, not anything aside.
There was one guy who actually paid me 100 quid. He like has mindset on like coming round, doing mutual head, and then that was it.
Right.
He came round, looked at me and was like, nah, I can't do this. You look like my son. He ended up leaving, coming back 10 minutes later from the shop, literally just down the road from us, with a bottle of wine, a pack of cigarettes, paid me the £100 still, sat there, and we watched the film the whole time.
Oh, wow.
Like, he just couldn't go through it. He just sat there and just kind of sat.
So what was it about that makes that be the first one that you mentioned? Because that's interesting, actually. So it's interesting that when I've asked about a positive one that struck to your head, and just off the top of your head, the first thing that's come through was someone, it seems to me, like to just analyse it from an outside perspective, that a guy who's come round expecting something, and it wasn't much, right? Mutual oral sex, fellatio. And because you've reminded him of his son, his ethics and his morals have said, like, I can't do this. He's left and he's decided to come back anyway. And you've actually just spent time as human beings.
I feel like it's definitely human nature when it comes to that shit. Like, you could be as horny as hell messaging someone, be like, I'm going to do this, this, and this to you.
Yeah.
And then you go round and you realise, oh shit, they remind me of someone, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then they leave. You don't think they're coming back. Next thing you know, they're going, I'm outside. Can I come back in? And you're like, okay, cool, that's fine. Wow. And then they explain to you, look, I can't do this because you remind me of, my son.
So. Yeah, and I guess I can kind of understand why, I understand why someone wouldn't want to do that in that situation. But that wasn't what I was first going to say. Is I can understand why it probably is a positive experience to have someone who's even in a situation where it's something that's like transactional sex, that actually some of these people that are willing to go through this are good people at heart. It's not like just a totally seedy underworld, right? Or am I wrong?
No, it's not totally seedy underworld. Like, there are good people that like want to do it.
Yeah.
But then they can't because obviously, they find someone they're attracted to and they're like, okay, cool, I could pay for this thing I want done.
Yeah.
They can turn up and it'll be like, oh shit, wait, I can't do it because
of whatever, right? But I suppose that's the thing about sex work, right? So people maybe sometimes resort to sex work because there's like a sexual fantasy or kink, something they want to live out that they don't want to tell their partner, especially if it's a straight man who wants to indulge in something. It's like a little kink or
that's
whatever.
That's like 50% though. Like the other percent is people think that they can't do things because they're not the standard of people.
I mean, I get it as well. I wouldn't expect my girlfriend to be okay with me saying, look, I just want to have this random night of like gay sex or whatever. Like I think it's not commonly socially acceptable to have.
It's not socially acceptable, but if you get people that kind of understand it, then like that's good because sometimes you've got to experiment. Because if you've left all your life, just fucking women, and you're like, have this thing that's like, I want to see if I can have gay sex.
So
am I bisexual kind of thing?
That's interesting, right? So there's people that want to know, that have just like they've only been straight so far, and they kind of want to just test the waters. Maybe they're I don't want to say confused. They're like curious. What do they call it? Bi-curious, right? And then on top of that, like this is what with the question that sprung to mind is, so people that are bi-curious, they kind of just want to experience it. They maybe want to, I don't know, experience oral sex. Maybe want to experience full-blown sex from whichever angle it is. Maybe both, verse, top, bottom. What about? So is there a difference between the bi-curious male who wants to try it and the gay man who, rather than just going to get it from free, is there like a certain demographic of clients that you get that are like, I have to pay for this specific weird fantasy that I have because I can't actually get it with a consenting partner?
It depends how weird it is.
Well, this is what I'm asking you. How many really weird ones do you get? I suppose from bi-curious to gay men, do you get the really weird stuff from the bi-curious guy or the gay guy?
I think I've got 2 or 3 really weird ones. I mean, I'll have to obviously check messages, but I know I've got 2 or 3 really fucking weird ones.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, I can quickly try and find one now.
I mean, go for it. Go for it. Let's see some content. Because it's interesting to me, because I think like if I was going to, just like in imagination, if I was wanting to try something that was straight sex, you could imagine like living in a country that's, you know, like strictly under Sharia law, and you might want a blowjob, right? So this is a big thing in places like Turkey. A lot of the prostitute,
law, yeah, so trying to.
So a lot of the prostitute houses, because they can't openly practice fellatio, like oral sex, in their relationships because they have to, you know. So a lot of men are going to prostitutes just to get blowjobs. Yeah, which, like in our culture, obviously, for us, it's like that's a normal part of just a normal heterosexual relationship. But yeah, like for them, it's like that. So I'm thinking like, if you're bi-curious, perhaps they kind of just want to have the more vanilla stuff just to see if they like it at all, and then like, you know, maybe if you're resorting to sex work, because I suppose there's another question actually to ask you, like the availability of casual sex amongst the gay community compared to, as a male, trying to just get casual sex as a straight male is extremely hard, right?
I mean, getting casual sex is, for straight men, it depends where you're looking at.
It's different. A third of all men have either never had sex or they at least haven't had sex in the last year, right? The incel community is humongous. And just what's like leads to the whole red pill movement, the black pill movement. You know, we've got mutual acquaintances at least, people that we've both met that, you know, have been on podcasts about this stuff. Yeah, I think it just seems like I don't know. You could probably speak to about getting casual sex in the gay community a lot better than I can.
Casual sex in the gay community is very fucking easy. You've got to just log on to Grindr, and you know, within 5 minutes, someone's in your bed.
Well,
but like on that note, like I've just found one of the weird messages. There's some guys. Like one of the weird messages I got was a guy that likes guys with big dicks and foreskins and loves dick cheese and wants people like, you know, wants someone to obviously, you know, be
unclean.
Yeah, and kind of like not like lick but like eat kind of thing, the dick cheese, and they would pay a lot, and that was the weirdest one I got, was he was offering me a lot of money for me to not wash and kind of for him to, you know.
You by implication, you didn't do this, or you did it?
No, because I'm very clean. I'm like every day I shower. Like I'm not gonna like smell a BO and like walk around, you know, with like dick cheese and shit. No, like no amount of money could like make pay for that. So I saw that and I was like, right, okay, no, I'm not doing this shit. Like, what the fuck's this shit?
I hope my mum never sees this. I'm sorry, Mum.
Yeah, I'm hoping no one I know sees this. Can you imagine that? They're like, Jay, so apparently, you've had a guy that's wanted to pay a lot of money for you to, you know, for you to go dig cheese and for them to like put it on like a ham sandwich or some shit.
So yeah, look, just, oh man, that is bizarre. Well, so is there any off the top of your head? What are some of the weirder and darker things that you've been offered to do?
Some guy asked me to pretend to be dead and him to have sex with me, and I was like, no.
Wow, do you think that's the kind of guy who's going to end up in the papers one day?
Funny story, actually. One guy I had sex with actually ended up in the papers.
Oh, wow, for what?
He ended up killing someone.
Oh, no.
Not going to name names who or anything like that. But it was fully a week after I'd done shit with him. I found out in the papers that he killed someone. So I'm like, alright, okay, so I'm gonna go hide in a fucking den of iniquity for like a week and not show my fucking face. Can you imagine that? It's like, yeah, didn't you have sex with this guy? He killed someone. Like, yeah.
Yeah. What's the worst thing that's happened to you as a result? And I'm not talking about in sexual scenarios and stuff, but like, do you feel like, so what's the word? Is it a psychological thing? Have you feel like, what's the worst part about being a sex worker?
I mean, I feel like the worst part was definitely when people go to, oh, I bet your parents are proud. And then you're having to explain, oh yeah, by the way, I haven't spoken to them for between 5 and fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, probably get your facts straight before you know.
So does it still fuck you up, right? Like the parent thing, yeah?
As
much as you have this
in a sense, it doesn't. Because if you're looking at it from the wide perspective, it's just like, okay, cool, like, I haven't spoken to my parents. That will fuck anyone up. Like, you know, the one thing you want in life is a parent's approval.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that. It's like, I've got troubled relationships with my own parents. I'm not going to get into that because I'm the host and not the guest. But yeah, I suppose I can kind of relate.
Psychology. Now it's going to be you answering questions, motherfucker.
I'll give you one.
What, one question?
One question.
Daddy issues or mummy issues or both?
Both. Mainly daddy issues, though.
Can I ask why?
No. You got one question. And you
no, technically it's a loaded question, so technically I'm allowed to ask it.
It was a loaded question, but it's my podcast.
Technically it's a loaded question, so I'm allowed to ask it. I can still ask
why. Because he's wanted in this country.
So I'm guessing he's fucked off to a different country.
Yeah, he's fucked off to America. I haven't seen him since I was 12 years old in person.
Shit.
You know, and as a little boy, and as, like, you know, like, it's no secret, I am a straight male. I obviously always looked up to and wanted, that father figure to be there. And I have a son myself who's 11 years old, and he's never met his granddad and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a whole lot of
shit.
There's a whole lot of shit under the surface, right? I'm not going to get into it because I'm not the fucking guest and I'm not here to talk about it. But I gave you one question, you loaded it, and that's as good as you're going to get.
Yeah, so obviously you asked, I had to load that shit.
There you go. So yeah, let's go back to this though with the parents and stuff, because I feel like this is basically where under the surface of the great little clickbait bits and whatever else, there is a story here somewhere that's worth something, and I think it's probably quite powerful actually. And I'm trying to get to it and try and make sense of it, because while all this controversy and the culture wars are going on around a whole bunch of issues, the idea that we have pride and it's as big as it is and all of the stuff that's going on, there is clearly a massive negative impact on the mental health and the life trajectory of an individual for being homosexual, right? And it's going to have a massive negative impact if they're not accepted by their parents, if they're not accepted by their peers, if they don't have that support network, and it really fucking hurts, right? And it's not necessarily necessary. I mean, like, if you truly believe in the word of the Bible and the Quran and homosexuality or gayness is a sin, then fair enough. Like, maybe that's true, and like all gay people are going to burn in hell, and the good thing for your mother or father to do is reject you.
Yeah,
and
but they
move
say
on.
like gay people are going to burn in hell, people with tattoos, blah blah blah.
Yeah, can you speak to religion at all?
Can I speak to religion? I mean, I went to church, obviously. You're growing up with a psychosocial parent, and then that's when you're friends with a fucking Christian. Yeah. So obviously you're growing up with that shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, I believed in it for a bit, and then it kind of ended up, not panning out the way you're going to be. So
what about this? Because I think what I was touching on there as well was like the kind of culture wars, right? So on one hand, you've got the left wing, the woke movement, the liberals moving towards like acceptance for gay people. You have Pride Month, you have this and that. And I understand that, the same as like Black Lives Matter, the same as whatever. I understand why it's called Black Lives Matter and not All Lives Matter. Because it's trying to raise awareness, the same as like women's rights instead of just rights.
But I feel like gay pride is definitely something different. Like that's, I can say to raise awareness, but then again, you've got a lot of people going there that aren't accepted, and then they're just there to find acceptance.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all there for it, don't get me wrong,
Totally.
but there comes to a point where you kind of just like, but if you're going to that one event, that 1 year, just to find acceptance, surely you should kind of open up and be like, okay, cool, so I need to know why I'm looking for that acceptance.
Yeah, right. That's a deep question as well, or a deep statement, because for some of these people, maybe that's the only time they manage to sneak away and go to a pride that's not in their local town.
Yeah.
And but I find that sad, because I don't think there's any place in hell for a person just for being gay. If you just have gay, consensual, even as a sex worker, I'm not judging you at all.
I think it's definitely where I've got the privilege, because it's obviously where I've kind of moved out so quickly. I managed to explore that shit by myself.
Yeah, but
on my own grounds. And then some people that still live with their parents.
Yeah,
they're very much still just like, okay,
right.
cool, I need to do this shit.
And they might be the people that are wearing a mask down there at the parade, right? And they finally, for the first time in their life, maybe just once a year, like you said, can finally feel like they have a place where they have acceptance. And I think that's really sad. Like, if my son, when he turns out to be, like, if he turned out to be gay and said it to me, from what I take from this, like, I just tell him I love you anyway. Your boyfriend is welcome at our Christmas dinner, because I wouldn't ever want him to feel that fucking way.
But,
you know,
like,
I think that's a big deal.
That's always good, you know, saying that. But then there's also some parents that are just like, but why are you like this? You know, it's just phase kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's very much like some people, they still live with their parents, and, you know, they're still gay, kind of, you know, struggling with finding out why.
What do you reckon the likelihood is that your dad was gay in the closet?
Well, my dad being gay in the closet? Oh, 100% no. He's the biggest fucking straight man ever.
Well, there you
but
go.
Then again, are we talking about the one who was there for me, or the one who technically helped with my conception?
Oh wow!
Because if we're being real, let's be real. You know this. We've got one that was there and one that, you know, ended up being my actual father, but he's currently 6 feet
So
under.
wait. Let's for clarity. For the audience, it's your story. You tell it.
I mean, do you want me to do it the blunt way or the nice way?
Do it the blunt way.
I did it the blunt way. My mum was a massive whore and ended up fucking my uncle, and then boom, I got born, and then I got told that it was actually the dad who was there.
So the person who you thought was your dad was his brother.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he ended up dying of cancer in 2013.
Wow. And you found that out just recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, I found it out half a bottle of vodka in, and a phone call from my auntie.
And it led to a lot of tears.
Yeah, drunkenly in the middle of Luton Town Centre.
Wow.
So I kind of like went into like the casual thing.
Wow. So we kind of spoke on woke culture, and, you know, I've touched on it a little bit across there, but what do you think of the whole woke culture movement right now? Like, you know, let's say, like, obviously you're a member of the LGBTQ1 plus fucking community. What's your thoughts on transgender as a gay man?
I'm all here for it.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. There are some trans people that, I don't say take it too far, but like they definitely do take it too far. Like, if you go to like, I saw one on TikTok the other day. She went to a restaurant, and then they accidentally called her man by accident, because
misgendered her, right?
Yeah, you didn't know.
Yeah.
And then she went fucking ape shit, like she was wanting everything cut off of her fucking bill, and she wanted the guy fired and everything. But I'm like, you don't know unless you ask. Like, that is just taking it a bit too extreme. Like, you know, like, you can be trans, but like no one knows. Like, I've had that quite a few times when I used to be a waiter.
You have to at least put on a wig and dress in effeminate clothes for people in society.
Some people do, but like you don't know. So obviously, when I used to be,
it's not obvious.
I feel like there was one time, especially when I used to be a waiter, like the one and only time I was serving a trans man. Obviously, he had long hair, so I thought, okay, cool, that could be a woman. Obviously, I was mistaken. I obviously took
so a cis male, you misgendered as a...
No, so it was a woman transgendering into a male.
Right.
But obviously they had long hair and that. Obviously I was obviously tired because I was working a fucking double. I didn't fucking pay attention. I was doing no long hair. So I was like, cool. And then like after that I was like, right, okay, I'm just gonna say, are you okay, love? what's up or do you need anything. I'm not gonna do that. Because obviously some people, you have to remember, most of the fucking, people that are waitering, doing bartending, they're working double shifts, fucking nearly 18 hours. They're going to be tired as hell. They're not going to want to...
If that person sees this, I don't think you've probably reassured them too much.
I mean, yeah, but I'm like, what I'm trying to say is, obviously, you're going to be more worried about trying to just get it done as fast as you can, so you can go the fuck home and go to bed.
Yeah.
Because, like, let's be real.
So, I'm going to press you on this a little bit. So, what about trans men? So, like, men that have transitioned to women, trans women in women's sports, and how that implies on the feminist movement. You got thoughts on that?
I wouldn't obviously say anything on that. See, I don't know an awful lot, so I won't say anything. I'm just
going to ask the question right like this, as clearly as it can be said. If any man can identify as a woman and participate in women's sports, it's okay for me to identify as a woman and compete against women?
That's definitely different. Like, I'm going to take the wrestling standpoint on this.
Right.
Because I looked into earlier. One person who's currently in a company called AEW, Nyla Rose, she's transgender. She fights women.
Yes.
And I was reading the comments earlier, and then they were going, "Oh, but that's a man that should fight women." No, because if she identifies as a woman and she, and she trains to the strength of rules as women, and she says, "I'm a woman, my name's Nyla, that's it," then that's fine. She should fight women.
Okay.
If there's a couple you've got, and this is mainly like transgender women. Obviously, I haven't seen any, like, obviously transgender men fight.
There's never been a transgender man.
No, so obviously you've got like you've got the current ones. You've got Nyla Rose, and then you've got.
What about? I tell you what. Back away from sports, we had recently Nicola Sturgeon, who was the First Minister of Scotland, had to resign over the Ida Bryce incident. Right. So there's a guy who was a male, right. Raped 3 women or something, and got caught. He had a long-term girlfriend. I'm not sure if he had children or not. Whilst facing the charges for the rape,
came out of transgender and ended up in a women's show. Those type of people, I don't condone, because at the end of the day, if you're doing that,
it's abuse, right?
It's abuse of power in a sense. That is taken away from the people who are actually trans, and they want a life from themselves. You've got drag queens and that are taking, like, drag queens, normal people, and like all normal trans people, and you've got people in the public domain that are having to take that slack because they're like, but that one person, raped a bunch of people, but they came out as trans, which means all trans people. That's not true. If that happened whilst they were a man and they transitioned during the court trial, trying to get that easier, then they should be put on a protective wing away from everyone.
See, the problem is this, right? And this is the problem. It's because I kind of agree with you here. Like, if there are genuine cases, because there's hermaphrodites, right? There are people who have a mix of chromosomes, and maybe to a certain degree, gender is a social construct as well. I can get down with that idea. I'm not sure to what degrees or where the hard lines are, or where we should legislate them in society, but at the same time, there clearly is root. It's not solid binary one or the other, and I'm not talking about non-binary, by the way.
No, it's just it's a construct. At the end of the day, what people need to understand is,
Spartan woman. In Spartan culture, a woman was something like, we would consider very masculine in today's
But like trans lives definitely do matter. Like, you're seeing a bunch of people, especially like black trans people, that like getting murdered and shit. Like, it does, like, that definitely needs to stop, especially with...
If you, anyone who's murdering anyone for their sexual orientation, for their gender identity, anything like that, was a piece of shit.
But I feel like definitely is, like, mostly like straight people, like straight Christian people, like heavily religious people. They're seeing a bunch of trans people now on RuPaul's Drag Race. They're seeing them on wrestling shows and comedy shows on anything else. And there's like, but that's not normal. Well, it's a new. Well, it's that's not wrong. It's a new normal now. Like,
it's also the new normal to once upon a time it was a new normal for homosexuality to not be legal, right? So but we're touching on something here. So there's it's multifaceted here, right? So you're saying there are people that are genuine case studies of trans, but because it's been so amplified in the media and especially social media, that there's a bunch of other people that are just going to abuse it for their own agenda.
Yeah, there's some people that will abuse it for their own sort of power to try and get popular, and then
they want to go in a women's jail as a male rapist, like, you know, that's
there's that, and then there's like
do you think he was a genuine transgender case? Or no?
I would say not really, because you know that was definitely just kind of like a.
You wanted a more lenient sentence, right?
Yeah, like there's definitely also then some people on TikTok as well that kind of come out as trans, but.
Do you think it's become a trend? Do you think there's a bit of a little problem where people can't define what a woman is and stuff like that in society? They can't just say.
I wouldn't say it's a problem. I feel like there's definitely some people that come out as trans. That aren't that kind of do it to cause a ruckus in a sense.
So do you like? Here we go. Let's give it a question. Do you think there is a biological factor in whether you're legitimately trans or not? So as in you need to
I
have
feel
more
like
female
some people
chromosomes.
are definitely they've got like, you know, they're.
I'm asking. Wait, as a society, should we draw the line legally? As in, when we sequence your DNA, whether you have more male or female chromosomes. Like, if you're just a man, like an Olympic athlete, say, I
feel like everyone should be more accepting of trans people, because we've just become more accepting of gay people. But now we're
right.
kind of.
You think this is the next battle?
Yeah, next battle is definitely
trans.
Getting more accepting of trans people. Like, you know, we're getting especially in America now. You've got a bunch of trans people that are coming in limelight. And they're coming out in that limelight.
So how about this though? Because this is a question that like haunts me, and I'm at risk of like, you know, putting myself in troubled ground here. I'm a straight male and a cisgendered male, and a large part of what attracts me to a woman is the idea that we can procreate, not from a religious sense, not because I'm Christian, it's not because of any of that. It's just like partly because of that, because I care about having children or whatnot. It's like, is it okay for someone who is a trans woman to not disclose that to a male that they see, knowing that they're robbing that person of the opportunity of having children potentially? Should we all just be open? Is a straight man a bigot because he won't have sex?
I feel like it's definitely for a trans person. And let's say they've had top and bottom surgery, it's their own story to tell. If let's say they don't want to say it and they just say, "Look, I'm a woman," that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
But if they disclose it, then that's definitely like a privileged bit of information in a sense.
So they should at least disclose. I feel that even if they're going to just tell a lie to their partner, which I think is ethically questionable, and saying like, I can't have children for whatever reason.
I feel like some people, like definitely some trans people, they're scared in a sense, because let's say, you know, you got with a trans woman, she had bottom and top surgery, she has had bad experiences, and she's scared to announce it.
Yeah.
So she gets with you, and then she's scared because she doesn't want you to know, in a sense. I feel like it's definitely her own pace to say, in a sense.
I agree. But I would like to think anyone who wanted to have an intimate relationship with me, I would like to think trust is foundational in a relationship, just as much as how good the sex is. I'm not finished. Trust is important, and even if you're uncomfortable enough that you have to take a minute before you can say that and figure a few things out about me before you are able to disclose that you were born a male biologically.
Can I ask this question? I've gone for a pee again. Can I be an arsehole?
Yeah, that's fine. I need a pee as well.
I've been holding this in for about 10 minutes.
We'll do it. Yeah. And here we are. We're back again, right? So I'm going to just fucking lay my cards on the line. I would feel like in a situation where I'd been seduced by someone who was a trans female that was born a male, I would feel like it should be disclosed before I have sex with that person. Perhaps, but not just me personally, anyone, right? So just any person is. What if they have religious beliefs that in their religious beliefs that that's totally wrong.
I will add my comment on this before we move on, just in case we get cancelled
Okay.
during this whole thing.
Oh, yes.
Can you imagine that? Like, you just start your podcasting career and we get cancelled in this one fucking podcast.
Yeah.
But no, like, I feel like it's their own discretion, like...
To disclose.
Yeah, like, they've got a lot of courage coming out.
Yes. Yes, I agree with that. It's a lot of courage to come out. And I respect anyone who does come out, who genuinely has that, and I've got no bias or bigotry to them. The thing is, though, it's like, as a man who wants to have children, and just as a preference, like, it's not racist for people to say they have a preference for Hispanic men. As a man, like as a gay man, you might be like, I prefer Hispanic men, or I prefer black men, or I prefer...
I mean, I feel like it's definitely like, if you want a child, that's definitely like a serious conversation you got to have.
That's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Right?
I feel like that's only at the time you want it.
Yeah, perhaps, but like I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with that, because if you've fallen in love with a person, and it's based off of the fact they've abused your trust by lying to you, not being honest with you at least, even if it's not lying, admitting the truth at least, that's never on the cards, and they knew you well enough to know that you wanted it. So maybe that's a question for other people to disclose as well, the same way that since the Me Too movement, you now have to explicitly demonstrate consent.
I feel like it's definitely a question for other people, in a sense of we can like sit here and like kind of like talk about it, but then we're not. Yeah,
that's probably. I definitely like two of the people that I've had on the podcast that could be on before you don't identify as cis. So like the first two guests I've had on the podcast are trans technically, anyway. Like, or at least identify in the trans community rather than cisgendered people, right? So there's that, but I haven't discussed that topic with them. I suppose it's because it's come down to LGBTQ plus, like the T in LGBTQ
I feel like
is trans. So I just feel like it's not unfair if we're going to go there just to ask your opinion on it as a gay man.
I feel like it's definitely in a sense of, you wouldn't want to get the wrong information, so you'd want to get someone who is of trans, being trans, and kind of get their kind of stance on it, being like, asking that question. Like, I can give my stance, but then my stance could always be wrong, same as everyone else's. Like, I can give my stance on, my son's stance on like gay relationships and that. But then, if we're going into territory of trans,
that's fair. That's fair. We'll move on from trans. Like, obviously, I just wanted to ask the question. I think that's very fair to say. It's something you've expressed your opinions on it, and I think quite reasonably you said it doesn't apply to you. So, same as it doesn't apply to me. I've asked you the question as a gay man, your opinion on it, and that's fair enough. It's just like, if I was going to ask you, do you like getting fucked in the butt? Like, yeah. Well, let's ask you. Do you like getting fucked in the butt?
I mean, I was asking you first. You like getting fucked in the butt?
I've never been fucked in the butt.
Not yet, anyway. Give it.
Not yet. I mean, maybe I'd love it, right? Who knows? But I've never been fucked in the butt. And when I take a shit, sorry guys, I don't particularly enjoy that. So I'd imagine reversing it's not going to be too pleasant for me.
I'm just going to give you guys a look out. I'm going to ask the person off camera, Chris. Do you want to like shove a finger in Ashton's butt? She said no, but secretly she will say yes, guys.
Yeah, she let me give it the thumb at Christmas.
Yeah, no, give her a couple of wines and a couple
thumb.
of vodkas.
Doggy.
Jeans, the whole fist will be up there, guys.
I'm talking absolute shit.
But no, like, talking about that, I will say this off topic, majorly off topic.
Go on.
One time, and I'm gonna do this right now, guys. I don't agree with drugs or anything. But I did do a boatload of MDMA one time and had a boatload of vodka, and I ended up getting fisted behind an Asda. Don't do it.
Wow.
Next morning I couldn't fucking sit straight, so...
Fucking hell!
Don't get me wrong, felt great at the time, but to be fair, I was fucking out of it. I thought I was in Mars.
Starting this podcast felt great at the time. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this podcast will get you fucking cancelled in 15 seconds. Went from like mummy and daddy issues to transgender opinions, now getting fisted behind an Asda.
Please, YouTube, don't cancel me.
Please don't get me cancelled. I'm not even a fucking influencer. I just have sex sometimes.
Oh my god. I've got a couple of notes here that were sent over. If I could actually
say it.
You have a violence kink.
I have a violent kink.
You have a violence kink. Question mark.
A minor knife one, but that's
Whoa.
But that's a whole
What do you
story.
mean?
That's
What do
the
you
whole
mean?
story.
Tell a story.
So one time, I'm not going to name who, what happened.
Please don't
or
drop
where
in names.
it
If you do,
happened.
it's a lot more hassle for me to edit.
I
them
got
out.
minorly
Don't
stabbed
mention
in the
names.
leg. Now,
leg?
so normal people would be scared or worried. I got turned on.
Oh my god.
So that's when we kind of thought, fuck it, let's just fuck about with knives. And
When you say we, are you referring to yourself in the third person?
me
as...
and a few other people I'm not going to disclose of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that
Fine.
kind of happened, and I feel like being stabbed in the leg kind of ends up making you get an erection from being stabbed in the leg.
Okay. Wow.
So apart from that, no, like, even going back to the question, no, I got punched in the face once, and I got so angry I throat punched the guy to the point where he wasn't able to breathe on my floor. But to be fair, don't punch me in the face without telling me.
Right.
Other than that, then like, yeah, maybe I'll be into it.
What? Maybe what? So, have you ever consensually allowed yourself to be violently treated during sex?
Oh yeah, one time I got a black eye because I told a guy to do it, full hug, and he gave me a black eye. Didn't realise I had to go to work the next day and had to explain to my manager that I got a black eye during time I got raw dogged by a 6'5" black guy.
Wow, wait, raw dogged. When you say raw dogged, does this mean...
No condoms.
Wow.
Also, don't recommend it, guys. If you want to do it, have safe sex, please. I got chlamydia 3 times. Don't do it.
Wow. How often do you practice safe sex during your sex work?
A lot of the time. Like, during, sex work, all the time.
All the time or a lot of the time?
A lot of the time. But when I'm off the clock and I'm doing it just my own pleasure, yeah, fuck it. Shove it in. It's fine.
Wow. I mean... medication's got a lot better for like HIV and AIDS, right?
Yeah.
Is that something that worries you? Do you?
The first time I'm catching chlamydia, I was like, yeah, fuck it, we're fine. I haven't caught an STD before that, so I was like, right, okay, so my thing is I've caught chlamydia 3 times, so it's fine.
Yeah. But is it something that plays? Do you worry about it at all?
No, I'm saying if I catch chlamydia for the 4th time, if I catch
not chlamydia. I mean, like, do you worry about AIDS stuff like that? Other diseases?
Because at the end of the day, let's be real,
even herpes, like incurable.
No, because I knew a girl that caught chlamydia, syphilis, and chlamydia. So I'm like, I could be worse off as that bitch. Like, she caught that with it.
So that doesn't cross. Don't worry about it.
No.
No.
Because I'm saying that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Oh well.
I can't be constantly worried.
Can I have that ashtray, please?
Can I have that ashtray? Well, I'm trying to smoke right now, so
I'll give it straight back. I'm
going to throw a cigarette at your face and be fucking asshole.
Do you consider yourself? Do you think of yourself and your own self-identity as a sex worker?
No, I class it as a sex enthusiast.
Oh wow!
I say I have double daddy issues and joint mummy issues, which contribute.
Is that a kink of yours, mummy and daddy stuff?
No. Can you imagine that? Someone goes, I'm your daddy, and I'll end up fucking burst out crying, be like, what? The one who's dead or the ones that's fucking in a wheelchair with mental health issues? No.
I mean, I can't imagine having a kink of just even having sex with a gay man. I'm straight.
Can you imagine that? Someone goes to me, I'm your dad, I'm going to go get milk. I'm like, cool, I'll see you in 23 years.
I mean, didn't you say earlier you had a client that come round and you pretended to be his son and walk on him?
I mean, yeah, but that was different. I got paid for that.
Yeah.
And I was also high, but...
What were you high on?
I smoked a joint.
What drugs have you done in your life, Junior?
How long we got, guys?
We've got as long as you need.
Let me ash a cigarette out so I don't set fire to my friend's house.
Go and do it.
She will kill me. I do have a key to her house, and she knows where I live. She will fucking cut my throat.
Yeah.
Right, so I've done weed, MDMA, acid. I've done ket one time.
Ketamine, right?
I bullied myself for that.
Wow.
I don't fancy being a horse in the field. Those were like the main ones.
Give me your best now. Give me your best horse impression.
I'm not doing the best horse. Fuck off, asshole. Though I'm saying that actually, and off camera, I'm going to be looking at my friend Christina. Do you remember the time that we were walking around and we got asked if we wanted crack?
Wow.
So, you know.
Yo.
Wait, come here. You can come.
No.
She should distribute the story as
she,
well.
She could, but we'll leave it to you. You're the guest this time.
we're as a person. It's like a joint thing, bless him. When Aston got with Chris, he was like, oh yeah, well, I'm just solely getting Chris. Little did he know he's getting a 23-year-old 6-foot gay man that's got a key to the
sex
house.
Worker, yes. Pretty crazy stuff, right, guys?
Yeah, I just walk in the house now and scream out, you're right, faggots. And they're like, okay, cool, so I'm somewhere. Should probably not say that, because might get that cancelled.
Yeah, potentially not.
Sorry.
Thank God for editing.
Yeah. Sorry, I walk in the house screaming, hi, gay guys. I keep forgetting now I'm actually recording a podcast.
Yeah.
I can't say my usual anagrams.
Yo, well, there you go. So, wow. So let's talk, right. So, we asked you violence is a kink question mark, and you bring up knives, which is even more extreme than what I imagine, with a little bit of tickle and
But knives is normal though. Like, if we're looking at it one day, knives is normal.
What's not?
What's not
What's
normal?
weird? No, what's not normal? What's weird?
Fucking animals and fucking balloons. Like,
Balloons?
I had an ex, right, who got turned on by fucking a balloon.
Oh, wow.
Bear in mind, okay, yeah, he then cheated on me 6 times and I fucked his dad, but...
Whoa!
You know...
Stop! You had an ex who used to fuck balloons, cheated on you 6 times...
Yeah, and I fucked his dad.
And you fucked his dad?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It was a spur moment thing, right? Like, his dad was hot, his dad was single. I was like, fuck it.
Jesus Christ.
There was a guy who ended up snorting coke off of my penis and then leaving me for his coke dealer. Within, like, 12 hours, bear in mind.
I don't need a fucking psychiatrist anymore. I need a priest down here.
Oh, I also had sex with a priest. That happened in North London.
Wow.
I don't go by any of my standards.
I mean, at least he has a good relationship with God, and he can ask forgiveness. You know, right?
I went on Grindr, and he was on there. So I was like, right, okay, cool. See how this goes. I ended up having sex with him in his office.
Oh wow.
I mean, at least I prayed for God. And I mean,
so Grindr. Let's talk about Grindr. Let's talk about the apps. So, how many apps are you joined on that you use regularly, and what are the most?
Let me get my list.
Let's do it. Let's go for it.
Right. We're going down my phone. Right, I'm on Adam for Adam. I don't use because it's bullshit.
Why?
Because it's just shit. No, okay. I don't even know why I have it.
Fine.
We've got Badoo because why the fuck not? We have, let me just scroll down my phone by my memes and my bank apps. We've got Hinge, I just use for the giggles because of voice notes. We've got Grindr. We've got Growler.
Growler?
Yeah, which I actually found someone you actually know on Growler. One of my ex-bosses from a pub I used to work at just down the road.
Just for the sake of, if anyone's not watching this and is just listening, he is speaking to a friend of his on the sofa. Not me.
Sorry, I just whiffed with the name. I hope you heard that.
I can edit it out. I'll edit it out. I don't want to get a
Growler,
fucking lawsuit on me.
There's an app called Growler, and my very straight boss was on there.
Okay.
I know because I caught him on, because of on Growler you can do lives. I caught him fiddling his diddle, putting it a nice way, on a gay bear app. Bear in mind, when I saw that I had to work with him minus 2 hours after, that was the most awkward shift in my fucking life. And then after that, he saw I was on there and started sexting me. And then his girlfriend found out and blocked me. And now it's awkward every time I see them around town.
Fuck me.
You actually might know who it is.
Look.
I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to say who it is, but
I don't want to fucking lawsuit this early on.
I'm on Tinder.
No names. Tinder.
I'm on worldwide on Tinder though, because I think it would be fucking hilarious to date a Mexican or like a Lithuanian or an American or someone.
So wait, right, let's whittle it down to the top 3. What do you spend the most? What gets the most amount of screen time out of you on an app? And
depends. What if I'm bored or horny?
Let's do both. When you're bored, what?
If I'm bored, I'll go on Tinder and Badoo because I think it's fucking hilarious.
Okay.
And if I'm horny, it will be Grindr or an app called Blowers.
Well, listen, right. Grindr, I think. Just to do it, actually, let's assume that the audience has no idea what Grindr is. Can you say in your words what Grindr is?
Basically, it's a gay sex app where you've got like a 50% chance of catching an STD.
Wow. I mean, that's great. But what seriously, how does it work? So I've never interacted on Grindr. I've never downloaded it. I've downloaded Tinder before.
So basically you get an account and you get the grid.
Do you see a bunch of profiles and swipe left or right like Tinder?
No, so you scroll down and it's just profiles. You can message anyone.
And how does that actually look on the screen? Is it just pictures of profiles?
Can I show a camera?
Yeah.
Without.
Actually, no.
Can I show you off camera?
You can show me off camera. You can't show the camera, no.
I can't believe I'm doing this right now.
Yeah.
Let it load.
You can show me.
Wi-Fi shit, guys. So that's what it looks like.
Oh, wow. How can you tell, which ones are near you, which ones are far, etc.?
So it has a symbol to say who's new, and anyone who shows up.
Sorry, just for guys, just to let people know, basically the whole phone screen is divided up in a grid of rectangles with pictures of faces. Mm-hmm. Some are anonymous, have no face. Some of them look like they're a picture of more explicit material than a face. Yeah. Right? Right?
But that's different to the other app, because obviously I spoke about Blowers, I'm going to show you that off camera.
Okay. And so from that, I'm imagining you can click on the profile and it tells you proximity.
Yeah, so it depends. Then you can get a certain amount of profiles, and then there's some you have to pay for. But the profiles in the vicinity.
Do people have to pay for yours?
What, on Grindr? No.
No. Okay.
I mean,
they have to pay when you turn up, but
no. If I'm on Grindr, no. So Blowers is different. Can I show you my profile? No.
Yeah, but you cannot. No, I can scroll down. You cannot show me
on
camera.
Off camera. One second.
Okay. One sec.
Severely off camera. That's Blowers. So I just showed him Blowers.
I've literally just seen a divided grid on a phone, and it is.
Can I explain?
Yes.
So basically, Blowers is an app.
Wow.
You go on it, and it is just a grid of dicks that you can blow it. And then the one thing I didn't show was...
And I noticed as I looked, it literally says online now, and they are local, 0.5 miles
And then also
away.
there's a subsection where you can upload videos on this app of that person blowing you or vice versa. Wish I was joking. I can show you off camera.
No.
But legit, I saw it, got disturbed and nearly cried. But
I don't want to see I don't want to see anything else off camera. You can just describe it.
I feel I definitely doing all of this. People can say I'm a whore because of my body count. Or I can't keep a man around.
I mean, the word. What about that actually? Quickly, because you said they can say you're a whore because of the body count, right? The word whore, and I'm not calling you a whore. I'm saying you're a sex worker, right?
No, you're right. My body count's over 400.
I don't. Right. Wow. But look, I'm not. The word whore is considered colloquially as a pejorative, right? As a discriminating word. So even escort, sex worker, something like this, right, is the culturally appropriate term. Are you comfortable with words like whore? I think as we started this interview, you said you described yourself that way.
Oh yeah, no, because I mean this in the nicest way. I'm not coming off as a. Can I say cunt?
You can say any words
you like. I can say cunt. Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not coming off as a cunt. I'm my mother's son for a reason.
Wow.
I'm gonna.
Junior's mum, listen. Don't blame me for this.
I'm gonna disclose this. I haven't spoken to this woman for 5 years, but the things that have come out, I know she's a whore. So I know that...
Wait. Whoa. Let's be a little bit careful here. Is this just you, like, shit-talking your mum?
No, this is true. So obviously...
She was paid for sex, you mean?
No,
right?
she
It was a pejorative term for a prostitute.
No,
right?
this is a thing that I'm going to disclose right now because I don't care.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to obviously what you were saying about the relationship between me and my mum.
Yeah, okay.
Me and her, ever since she got a divorce from my dad, me and her never got on. There were some things that I'm not going to obviously get into.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's going to be too dark for this fucking podcast.
Yeah. Let's keep it where we're comfortable.
But no, I found out that she had cheated on my dad multiple times.
Right.
Obviously, by dad I mean the guy who raised me.
Right, and you found out since as well that like his brother was your actual father, right?
So obviously, I can never see myself getting into a relationship back with my mum to a sense of wherever we're going to be, mummy and brother.
Sad because I personally, and I just can say this off the bat because I've had troubled relations with my own mum, and like I've felt like that. I've described my relationship with my own parents a few times like that in the past. And sometimes I feel like that even still. I can I have one of them, Junior? Thank you. So I felt like that a few times, but I like to hope and think that people can change and that people that grow and like. I'm not saying you can be rosy, swimming around the prairies.
I can definitely say I thought that, but then.
But you're young. You're young as well, right?
No, I'm not even young.
In a decade, you still won't be my age, right? So give it a decade, and maybe there'll be a chance when you're my age that you can at least, like me and my mum do, have a phone conversation once every fucking few months and get along.
No, I don't.
I hope that for you. I wish that for you.
I know that won't happen.
And I hope that she would do what any mum should do and phone you up and like be tearful and really mean it and say, look, son, I'm sorry for the ways I let you down.
This is the thing.
And I think if she ever does, I would hope you'd forgive her.
Can I be brutally honest right now, going really dark?
Yes.
Because I feel like from what you're saying, I need to kind of get across why I don't speak to her.
Right,
and at the end of the day, you're going to think this is sad. I think that it's just another thing's happening. This bitch abused me for fucking 5 years.
Wow.
Physically and mentally.
Right, can you describe or go into any of that? I don't want to make you say
I can 100% go into it because at the end of the day, it's happened to me.
Okay.
I will happily say
let's do it.
shit.
This is going to be powerful.
Because at the end of the day...
What kind of physical abuse did you experience?
She used to hit me. She used to hit my brothers. So I have 2 sisters and I've got 3 brothers. This one sister is...
Where do you fall in that? Older, younger?
I'm
dynamic?
the youngest.
You're the youngest, okay.
And one of my sisters eradicated from the situation because she was basically my mum. She's always going to be there for me. She always is.
Okay.
It is the one sister and the 3 brothers. She used to hit me, and then she used to get the others to hit me.
Wow,
she used to solicitate that. She used to also then mentally abuse me. That is why I don't speak to her now, because I'm like, you used to do that, and then...
Right, because for a lot of people, and this is powerful because some people don't even recognise when it's mental abuse, and I'm not sure that you necessarily did at the time that it was mental abuse. What does that entail? What does that actually look like on a personal level when it's really happening?
So there was one time, I will recount one time for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
She used to punch me and tell me, you're the reason why your dad left. You're the reason why I've got a divorce from him. You're the reason why your dad overdosed. You're the reason why we had to move. You're the reason why you're having to move to Hertfordshire.
Well, that's dark, bro. And I'm just going to tell you right now, like fucking cameras or no cameras, man, that is not your fault. That is not your fault.
At the end of the day, I see it as this. I took its character development.
That's their fucking fault.
Because
right?
the thing
that, no. Let's just, before we move on, I want to make this very clear. To you, it's not your fucking fault that anything happened. It's their shit in their own heads. Because plenty of parents manage to stand by their fucking children, whether they had fucking Down syndrome, whether they were gay, whether they were fucking a wrestler because their family didn't believe in that, whether they decided to do the arts rather than become a lawyer.
But no, I took it.
There's a load of different reasons parents have expectations of their children to pick up the family business or to be a certain way or to fit in with their religion or to fit in with anything.
No, but the thing is,
it's not your fucking fault.
I took it as character development.
You don't believe that now, do you?
No. Like, don't get me wrong, when I had my very, very public mental breakdown, obviously, I did believe that because, in a sense, you're being told two different things. You don't know what you're going to believe.
You strike me as a troubled individual. Do you still believe that? In the darkest moments, even now, does that still haunt you?
What? The haunting of...
The haunting that you think somehow you're at fault.
I mean...
the troubles in your parents' lives, so that you're guilty somehow.
Obviously, the abuses are always going to be there with me, because obviously...
Not the abuses. Do you still feel guilt? At all?
I feel guilt because I lay there and let it happen.
No, you're not guilty. You are never responsible for someone else's actions. Ever. Nobody is. If someone cheats on you, you're not guilty because you neglected them, because you fucking argued with them, because of anything. You're never guilty. Everybody has to take responsibility for their own fucking action.
Is that right?
Yes. Everyone has to be responsible for their own fucking actions all of the fucking time. I don't believe in anyone being able to pass off. I believe in that for every time you point the finger, there's three fingers pointing back at you, and I think those three fingers mean more than the other one.
If we're definitely looking into my psyche and that's
where we're going.
I can't, like, it haunts me, don't get me wrong, every single day, because I know I can never get over that. No amount of therapy, no amount of medication, no amount of drugs, no amount of alcohol can ever,
by implication, you use drugs and alcohol to escape this, right? So that is a direct impact.
I don't use drugs anymore. I mean, I'm not raising druggy, just let everyone know I'm
actually... Right, yes, okay.
But
you drink... So part of your drinking and your drug taking in your history...
part of the drinking is definitely because you've been drilled...
You're escaping that was damage done from you from bigoted people that made you feel that you were guilty.
Yeah, because when I got told that my parents were divorced was... And I can happily say this, was...
Happily.
Straight after school, I got home within 10 minutes. My mum wasn't there. She was in another guy's bed. And my dad was home and he went, me and your mum are getting a divorce. Obviously, by then, I was being bullied. I was not, coping straight.
Yeah.
And then that was my first proper breakdown. Then...
How old were you when this happened?
I was 12, 13 when it happened.
So this is 2 years before you even figured out your own sexuality.
Yeah, and then I can remember the account, I was watching Simpsons, believe it or not, and then I had a commotion in the kitchen and then the front door slammed. And then I went to bed. And then I found out the next day. My dad had taken an overdose and had driven himself to Button Hospital, passed out in a car park, and he was found by my sister, her then boyfriend, and a couple passers-by. I wanted the day off school. I got sent in by my mum because she told me, don't be a pussy.
Wow.
I then freaked out during English. I then fucking flipped table. I got sent to detention because of it. And no one really listened.
Yeah.
And then I got obviously abused and I came in school with broken fingers. I got, red marks around my neck and that. They then called social. They told me that it was my fault.
So this seems like a repeated fucking pattern in your life. So when you say you were told it was your fault, can you describe, a little bit more in depth how at least you perceived that's what they were saying to you? Like,
they would go in that because I was obviously going through puberty at the time. They said that it was me being difficult. me acting out because of my parents' divorce.
It's no lie in today's society, and I had my own troubles. And can I borrow that ashtray, please? It's my parents went through a divorce when I was a little bit younger than that, right? I was like 8 years old or something, and there you go. And I had some like services that were made available to me by the local schools. And do you know what my experience with them was? My experience with them were really, really bad as well. They were really bad. They were more detrimental than they were positive, and it's something I did like. I didn't anticipate necessarily it coming up here, but I want to do a podcast on it in and of itself about the state at the moment of mental health services and the postcode lottery.
But just to cut you off, obviously, going back to obviously growing up during the school and that, I had none. It was deal with it or you're gonna end up. I'm gonna be harsh right now because at the end of the day,
be harsh,
you know, it was either in my state of mind, it was deal with it or be dead by 13. Like, did I expect I was gonna make it to my 23rd birthday? No.
That's like 10 years ago now.
Like, every single birthday, even up till now, even though I've got you, I've got Chris, I've got everyone else.
Yeah.
It's very much just like, am I going to make it to my birthday? Because of my mental health disabilities, I'm not expected to make it as far as I do because of...
And this is like, I just want to pick up on this because you're saying this and obviously you're speaking... As in, that's not something that's been
I will always be
candid
of it because at the end of the day, it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm 23 and everyone kind of sees light-hearted joker thing, but back in the head, I'm like, am I going to make it 24? Am I going to make it 25 to hell 30?
Coolio, I'm 23 now, but will I live to see 24 the way things is going? I don't know.
Alright, and then calm the fuck down, Jesus.
No, thanks to Paradise.
It's just like,
Coolio, he died recently.
I know it. But no,
when I release this on Spotify, that's going to be the outro. I can't do it on YouTube because of the rights, but Spotify, that's going to do it.
It was generally, you know, I always make birthdays a thing because I'm just like, at the end of the day, I've survived another year. Like, how long have I got kind of thing? Like life's one of those precarious things where you kind of just like, you don't know if you're going to make it. And then you're kind of just like, who's going to be there?
Like, I want to ask this question now, like, you know, not just for the podcast, but as a friend, as someone who has walked to July very recently, like in the preparation for this and whatnot else. Do you contemplate suicide? Is it something that happens often?
Not all the time.
In your life?
Sometimes, not all the time. Like,
how much of that do you attribute to family relations? How much of that do you attribute to your sexuality and how society treats that? The stigma of being a gay man still in society. The fact that our society hasn't given full acceptance.
Suicidal thoughts, definitely not because of. Okay, they can like contribute to obviously family drama and all that shit, but mine personally,
yeah,
I was drilled into my head a lot of things, and obviously,
what things?
So obviously there was one time where and obviously it's going to be a bit gory and a bit out of detail. I'm sorry guys, but
no, don't.
Well, it's spilled alcohol on my tit. Sorry, one sec.
Tit.
But no, there was one time where I had bruises on my leg. I had 2 broken ribs. I had red marks around my throat, 2 broken fingers, and a broken wrist on my right hand. And then I was in Tring at the time at my sister's house. She obviously took pictures for obviously child protective services and everything. They obviously then caught wind of what my mum was saying. They said obviously it was an accident, he fell, it was dark, it was a play by accident, blah blah blah. They were in a situation to either choose believe me or believe 4 other people.
Yeah.
Who do you think they believed?
for other people.
Yeah. And then...
And what is, like, I don't want to pressurise you to go into it, but what, if you are comfortable to speak about it, if not...
I happily speak about it. Like, my
what really
mum...
happened?
So, my brother, he's heavily autistic. I don't blame him for a lot of shit. I feel bad for him in a sense. Obviously, because he's got ADHD, he's got autism, he's got a lot of other learning difficulties.
Yeah. Okay.
He learns shit because of what gets said to him, which is my mum. So obviously, he does what she says.
Yeah.
And then my other siblings are just fucking arseholes. Let's be fucking real. Like, I can pull up the messages right now. Like, I'm gonna do it.
Do it. See, this is a bit of insight. This is powerful content for people that are going through similar things. Because you know what? As much as you might think you're alone on this, and you are alone on this in your own head, actually there's so many people alone with this same demon. With the demons of their parents, with the demons of rejection, with the demons of judgment, with the demons of like how society judges entire demographics, whether it's because you're gay, whether it's just because...
So I found out they blocked me, but no, like, I know the message of my heart, but like, there was, a couple months ago, my mum had spread around that I was on heroin, sleeping on other people's couches.
Which I know for a fact isn't true. I've spoken to you nearly 12 months.
Yeah.
In preparation, like, not that we've discussed the content of the podcast, but we arranged to do this podcast at some point a long time ago. You know, my girlfriend.
And plus, if I was on heroin, I'd be fucking rich. Like, jeez, I could just afford a fucking loaf of bread.
I don't know about that. That's a radical thing to say.
But no, so it ended up being this whole thing. And then my brother, Philip, I don't care about naming and shaming him because at the end of the day...
Yeah, there's no last names.
It's no love lost. He's a piece of shit. When he found out I was gay,
so much for
he told me, and I quote, "Kill yourself. You're not worth it." I blocked that shit. I was like, fuck that shit. Obviously, I had a 2-month eating disorder like a month after that, but that's not the reason why. Let's be real. But we'll touch on that later. But my sister, she not the one who I speak to, the other one, she got involved. She's spit an image of my mother, and obviously my other brother, he got involved as well. Gave me their addresses, told me to pull up, fight them. Didn't do it, so I was like, why am I gonna...
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
But my other brother,
Fuck them, man.
But my other brother, I can kind of... During the whole thing, I kind of like knew because of his issues. Because of the amount of learning difficulties he's got. Yeah. He got so scared he escaped the fucking country. Yeah. Like, he's not even in the UK anymore because he is so scared.
Good for him.
So I'm like, it's good for you, but also you're a bit of a pussy in a sense because, I get you've got learning difficulties, you need to escape it because of this. But this has been going on for fucking years. And you've always been on one side, on doing this and that, and kind of accepting of the others. And now, years later, you thought, I can't deal with this, I'm escaping the country. Whereas I've moved from now 3 different places just to feel some kind of comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's tough, man, right? And I know that one of the things that you do experience in your mental health is that you go through a lot of anxiety. What are the actual symptoms of your own mental health? So anxiety is one, perhaps, but other things like what would you describe?
So at the minute I can't go into town like at all. Like obviously I'm on universal credit and that I can't go into town to go there. I can't go to the Tesco. I can't go anywhere because I can't go to Halifax to sort my bank account out. Because it just physically makes me ill. Mentally, physically, everything ill. Yeah. So I spend most of my time reading, obviously watching TV and that. Yeah. The most I go is the corner shop down my road. I know I can, like, I have a routine.
Because you know there are people you can call, with mentioning no names, right? But people that we both know. you can call, give you a hand, or at least come with you and stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah, I know that. I feel like in the back of my head, it's very much just like
But I don't,
the burden effect in the sense is you don't want to feel like a burden, but.
So that's important actually. Let's not move straight on from that. So even when you have a support network there that's available to you, right, and you have these issues that you're going through on yourself.
I don't want to overuse it. If it, people, like obviously you two can say, "I'm here for you." I don't want to overuse it.
Yeah, no,
I can be like, "Okay, I've got these appointments. Can you guys come with?" And you guys like, "Can't
Yeah. I get it. I get it. I get what
but
you're saying.
I feel like definitely.
But I feel like this is important, right? And I don't mean to cut you off as you're saying it, but I don't want it to sidetrack to where you're going with it. It's the point of let's slow down and focus on what is it really like for a person who, with or without support, actually, for all of the things that have happened, right, to you in your life, has led to this, right, to how it is. How does it fucking feel to be you?
Well,
when it's hard.
Because obviously I was originally diagnosed with anxiety and depression. Normal.
Okay.
I went to the doctors.
I mean, I don't know if that's normal, but I think actually increasingly that is fairly normal stuff.
No, but I don't mean like normal anxiety and depression, but I mean like that's a clinical thing you get depressed with, like, diagnosed with. I went to the doctors, they changed it full up. They said you've got severe anxiety, clinical depression, which means that is not ever going to go away. You are stuck with that shit for your life. They have possibly got a personality disorder, which adding that in.
Which personality disorder?
Borderline.
Borderline personality, BPD, right?
Yeah, because obviously my dad's got it, my aunt's got it.
Yeah,
I'm inevitably gonna get it.
No, it's not like, we don't want to go down a path of like eugenics and stuff like that, but I mean,
I don't think it's
there's definitely a link hereditary. I know it's very controversial to mention,
but I feel like definitely like right now, because obviously where it is, and obviously I'm unmedicated. I'm obviously gonna.
So that's an actually interesting point. So you're unmedicated.
Yeah, because
are you unmedicated or unprescribed? Have they prescribed you stuff?
Unmedicated. I used to be on medication, but I stopped taking it, and then
so you are prescribed medications that you just
not
don't
anymore.
take.
No, because I went to the doctor and told me I can't take it anymore, and they
what did they? I don't know if you can remember.
Metazapines, and I can't remember the other thing.
Citalopram or some sort of SSRI, because I know
I can't remember. All I can remember was metazapines and something else, but the main thing that fucked me up was metazapines because I took.
Did you get the little orange tablets, right?
Yeah, so I took
the had them myself, but I know what they are. Yeah.
So I took the metazapine because it was I got told to take 2. I took 2. I slept and I was fucking out of it for 24 hours. I didn't wake up for 24 hours.
Apparently, when you take metazapine, actually, the part of it that makes you sleepy only makes you sleepy when you take it, as it rebalances the chemicals in your brain for like 2 weeks, and that sleeping effect disappears after the second week of taking them. Don't quote me on how many weeks it is, but it's only
my personal experience. I took it.
So anyone who has been like it,
my personal experience, I took it for 2 weeks. My personal experience, I took it for 2 weeks and I stopped. Because it was made me feel like a zombie, so I went back to the doctors and they went, there's something they can do. Obviously, I've got to go back to the doctors because obviously they need to put me back on some more shit and some other stuff. But obviously, the doctor I'm trying to see, she's obviously not available because obviously the one I'm with at the minute, she's a fucking gimp, putting it in a nice way.
Oh wow!
She thinks that.
Let's be careful about that. But I think there is something to be said as well about the fact that. When you underfund the NHS for years and people out there that can't afford mental health services to pay privately for them, when you look at the actual prices, like it's north of fucking £500 an hour, or like even for a low end fucking could be £100 an hour for like a psychiatrist. People that are going through mental health, some of them are in a situation where the actual cause of their mental health problems, because of the family situation they've inherited on this chessboard, the idea that those people can go and pay privately for a psychiatrist.
I mean, to be fair, I should be seeing a psychiatrist, but...
Yeah, but you can't afford to get one. Like
no, because I can get one through the NHS. Because of the unit I was in...
But that's the postcode lottery, right?
No, because the unit I was in, I can get one for free, but I
Is that the
refuse.
Hemel Hempstead one? Right?
Yeah, because I refuse to see him because I know what's gonna happen. If we're gonna like be brutally honest with this shit, and I know it's gonna upset you because I'm gonna be brutally honest. I'm not sharing this with you, and it's gonna be brutally honest with you. I'm talking to Chris Signor off camera, by the way. Yeah. I know what's going to happen. He's going to ask me questions. I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm going to get sectioned again for the 4th time. You guys aren't going to see me for a fucking few weeks. I'm not going to do that shit because at the end of the day, I feel like I can sort that shit myself.
But how well are you doing at sorting that shit yourself?
Oh, 100% not. I'm not doing great. But at the end of the day, I know that I have a routine in place. I wake up, I smoke 2 times. Bear in mind, 1 to wake me up and 1 to kind of realise where the fuck I am. And then I shower, I defile myself, I smoke again.
Wow.
And then I go to get cigarettes, get an energy drink, get what I need. I go home, I put on a TV show, and I read. That helps. Like, I've read a lot of books. I feel like reading's a great escape at this point.
Actually, I was quite shocked when I fucking first learned out you'd read a lot of fairly, like, because I have read, like, recently over the last year, actually, since COVID, I went back to reading because I'd stopped because I'd been focusing on, like, developing a business.
Can we have one last pee break before
Yes, let's do it.
Thanks, I need a pee break.
Me too. We'll come back, folks. See you in a minute. So we're all back.
Right. I'll get the phone out my arsehole.
Yeah. I'm going to leave that in before I say the 3, 2, 1.
Well, the phone out my arsehole.
He got the phone out of his arsehole. And
I shoved it in because Chris, bless her, she sent me a picture of her boobs and I was like, fuck it.
Tragic. I've got some pictures of her boobs as well. No, I don't.
But can I reply back to some Snapchats?
No. You put that down and wait for 1 minute.
Fine.
For 15 minutes. What, unless it's something worthwhile adding on content on this?
It was my autistic friend. If I don't reply to her back, she'll have a fucking fit.
Then go ahead, do it. I'm just going to preface this to bring it back up, right? So, I feel like one of the most powerful themes that we brought up here tonight.
Are we starting again? Did you say 3, 2, 1 and
Okay. Right.
You didn't say 3, 2, 1.
All that stuff in, by the way, just to let you know.
Are we starting again? Are we starting again? Like,
we're
going to start on the break.
We're going to start again now. 3, 2, 1. And here we are. We're back.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
So, yeah, I think we were touching on something really powerful there, you know, where it comes to mental health and stuff and what you're being through. I don't want to press you too much harder on your own personal experiences.
Press me harder, Daddy.
Yeah, right. But I do want to touch on
no. Can I say something like before you fucking start? Like,
yeah, go.
I know you say obviously you're stepping on a bit of eggshells. I can see through your face, and like saying that you want to like kind of be careful. You can.
I don't want to be too careful.
You can ask any questions you want. I'm a fucking open book. I'm more open than fucking Mia Khalifa when she's banging a guy in a fucking burqa.
Wow. Well, listen, look, I've got no issue with going into the deeper, darker parts of things. I just want to be a little bit careful here because, not because of you personally, you might be open to talk about all of this stuff, but actually what's powerful here as well is how your story might translate to potential viewers, right? As well, because there's a lot of people going through shit.
No, but the thing is, you can step on.
Come to a very different conclusion to you, right? So there's some people out there, right, who your story could actually really fucking help.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can step on foot, but the thing is, you can skip most important things. Like, if you don't remember going on rant for a bit, like I can kind of do that shit. Like, people who definitely like don't have like a mum or don't have a dad kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I can, especially, and like they feel like their lives definitely gonna fucking end because they don't have a relationship. But I can tell you, it definitely does get better. I mean, Jesus, I was in a sinkhole. Because of my mum, when I lived with my dad, I didn't eat for 2.5 months.
Wow.
I was fucking skick thin. I didn't eat.
Yeah.
It was only then that I got myself out of that sinkhole.
And how did you do that? What were the things that led you to get from having an eating disorder, right? From living with your dad, your mum and dad?
Because I was young. You know, I was in that mindset of I grew up with your mum and your dad or your parents, no matter what the hell happens. Yeah. I then stopped eating because I was like, my mum doesn't love me. That's an issue with me.
Yeah.
I then realised that after coincidentally watching a YouTube video of all fucking things, it was you can have a parent no matter if they're biological or non-biological. So I started eating again, but you know.
Yeah, no, that's really powerful. That's really,
but like this sexual eating disorder as well. Like that, like I still have one to this day. Like
I just want to, before we go on, I just want to say that's really powerful, even like to me, because I was raised like that as well. Like, you know, on the same Disney movies as you, on the same like school and societal and cultural beliefs. Like, you always have your parents, right? Everyone has that.
Yeah, but I think
and then when something happens, like, you know, there's no secret. We said it already earlier. It's the
same time you hate yourself.
Shit about my personal life on a podcast. When I give you the one question, I won't edit it out. I will live it in.
I feel like I should get another question.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, like obviously my parents broke up and divorced, and it wasn't like, you know.
But can I use my one question?
But no. But all I just wanted to finish my thought that. I can relate to the idea that you have this idea that the one thing you're definitely always going to have is you're going to always at least have your parents. And when that structure, that fucking main, because of like that fundamental thing of just at least your family, at least you always have your parents, at least you always have a home to go back to. If you fuck up, your partner leaves you, everything goes back, at least you can go back to your mum and your dad, right? So many people do have that, but actually a lot of fucking people out here don't have that, and I don't have that. And if I was gay, I might have it even less, and I'm not sure.
But can I use my one question now with just a quick yes or no answer, and then a J rant?
Go.
Right now, and I'm talking. Where's my phone?
Wow! Don't
27th.
No. Oi.
The 20 obviously this month.
Yeah.
Do you actively still speak to your parents, and is it the still same relationship that you had as a kid?
Right, so I spent most of last year thinking that my dad was dead, and finding out he was still alive. I had one conversation with him just after New Year, I think, or either that or just before New Year. I was speaking to his brother, who I'm like, you know, yeah, either way. So like I hadn't spoke to him for a whole year, and was really worried and put it off because I have a close friend who was his best friend. So it was like a second father to me, who had cancer and gone through that. I just couldn't take all of the things that happened to me last year in 2023 and knowing that as well. So I just went off investigating it because I knew deep down that I was going to find out the worst. Luckily, it's turned out actually it's not the worst.
Turned out right.
And he just had not bothered to fucking log in Facebook and talk to me, which I'm now, rather than worried and scared about, now I'm just a bit pissed off about.
Do you still speak to your mum, or is
we speak little and not very often, and that's the best remedy for us. Because there's skeletons in the closet and there's stuff that's gone on there. Like, that's why a lot of what you're saying to me actually, you know, and I'm obviously would react to this a lot differently if we were off camera, but I mean, like, seriously, it's going to be powerful to a lot of people, because even to me it's powerful that I couldn't imagine being in your situation, but I can almost, because of my situation. I feel like, great, it really actually means something, and it really is very powerful.
But like, is this where like we kind of get along? Like, obviously, it's J-Rant time.
We don't get along.
I'm joking. Fuck you, big bitch. Obviously, like, we obviously kind of understand each other, obviously, because obviously daddy issues and mummy issues.
Yeah.
This is why you're a bit, you know, special when you want like anal and shit. And
what the fuck are you?
Yeah. And, you know, guys blowing you and fucking reading the Bible and everything. But nah, like, seriously, it's
You're
just like...
a wild character, bro.
Oh, shut the fuck up. No,
I'm
but
not even going to edit any of this out.
I feel like I can definitely, like, trump you on, like, daddy issues, because, you know, double jeopardy in a sense. But no, like... you know, you're dealing with it better than most people would. Like, you know, yeah.
I don't think I am. I think people look on the surface of other people and think that behind closed doors, and I don't mean closed doors as in behind the house. I have my own issues behind closed doors in the house with my own relationship. I have closed doors behind the relationship, the calls that I have with my mum. Like, you know, when you asked me that question, you didn't know if I'd say, like, no, we're really close, right? With my own son, who's with a partner that I'm not with anymore, and I can't speak about that for a bunch of reasons. At least most of all, that like I don't fucking want to. Like, we're not just mainly just because I'm not here to put. I'm here as a host, not as a guest, right? If I'm here as a guest on someone else's podcast and they want me on there, then maybe I'd accept that's up to there. But I'm not doing that.
Next episode, we'll find out that Aston's actually going to be hosting his own podcast
Wow.
and we psychoanalyze the motherfucker.
Yeah. But then, you know, on top of that, behind closed doors in, you know, personal relationships, behind closed doors in my mind of what I deal with, of the relationships I have with my parents, that I have with my peers, that I had at school, that how I've ever felt about anything. It's like you don't really see behind the closed doors, metaphorical and physical. You can't see behind any of them. And I think that's why I've called it the Humanity Podcast, man, because like this is what this podcast's about.
Podcast?
You what?
You actually got a name for your podcast. I didn't know.
The name of my podcast is the Humanity Podcast. So it's on YouTube. We've got the app. We've owned the domains on the internet stuff. The Humanity Podcast.
I'm surprised. I thought it was gonna be like called something weird, like the Queef Podcast or like some shit like that. Like people with daddy issues are coming on the podcast, guys.
No, it's called the Humanity Podcast. But the point is, it's about all of humanity, and humanity is the thing that's created artificial intelligence. It's about technology. It's about history. It's about politics. It's about philosophy. It's about sexuality. It's about interpersonal relationships. It's about
give it any
sex. It's about anything, any single dynamic that a human can have, from their career to gaming to painting pictures to masturbation to porn addiction to alcoholism to drug addiction to sex addiction,
we both
whatever
about
it is.
Alcoholism.
To being a gay male sex worker.
I mean, yeah, like being a gay male sex worker.
That's what you're here on the podcast to discuss, right?
I mean, a gay male sex worker, some with double daddy issues. Abuse issues. We can go on, guys.
Do you know who else got raised by a person and then found out that actually the person who they thought was their sibling was their parent?
Osama bin Laden.
Ted Bundy.
I mean, to be fair, he ate people, so how am I?
No, I think you're mistaken. I mean, you might have eaten a little bit of a few people, but
I swear he ate people.
That's Jeffrey Dahmer, and he was gay, right?
I swear they were both gay in a sense.
No, he only killed women, right? Right, and actually one little girl, Kimberly Leach in Florida, 12 years old, tragic. But yeah, no, he was definitely not gay, Ted Bundy. If he was, he might have had at least one male victim, but he didn't.
I mean, let's be real, we've all nearly been killed by a fucking guy before. I mean, I have. Have you guys? Have you?
I've nearly been killed by women before.
Oh, I nearly got killed by a guy that was actually my client. But
I've nearly got killed by gays before. Some of the shit you've said on this fucking podcast nearly choked me to death.
Didn't you also get an ambulance call because you punched someone in the chest so hard they couldn't breathe? Bear in mind, that was New Year's Eve this year, guys, and it was Aston.
Oh, wow. I mean, yeah, because I happen to have invited you round as a precursor to this. On New Year's Eve, we met up, right?
Yeah.
We're going to go here, we're going to do the story, right? Fucking, no, we're not going to do the story.
No, let me do the story. So, I came round as like a New Year's Eve thing. And then me and Aston played for. I punched him in the balls.
Bullshit.
And then
he
thought that it would be highly hilarious to punch me in the chest.
No.
Realised I couldn't breathe the whole time, and then had to get an ambulance called on me.
Right. Let me give my take on this story. Right. So
please straighten do it, bitch.
I'll straighten it out. I'll get cancelled on that. Right. This guy got invited round our house. To talk about stuff, to have a nice night, to have a few drinks and whatnot. Like, we are part of the support network here for this guy, you know, going forward. He comes round on New Year's Eve. he decides at some point, he turns around,
let's get real.
Hits me in the bollocks.
Fighting.
Hits me in the fucking balls while he sits at the table, right? I hit the fucking deck. I'm down in pain. I let that slide, right? That was fine. But I'm like, whoa, he did this in front of my girlfriend. Like. So, later on, I'm leaning over to a guy named Michael, who's like, rents a room off me, etc. Like, as I'm leaning over, talking whatever shit I'm talking to Michael, this little fucker, who's like, he decides what he's going to do is he's going to go and break up a Christmas cracker, not a Christmas cracker, a cracker that you put cheese on or butter on. A little cracker. He puts it down my arse, under my trousers, down my arse crack, because my trousers are riding low, while I lean over and speak to my mate. Now I decided, Ross, you've gone too far. So I fucking had a had a bit of an altercation with him, and I decided I'll give you a little, just a little.
It wasn't a little.
It was a little. And as I gave the little, he went and fucking flew across the room and hit the back, and it was just drama queen shit.
But no. If we're gonna be real, you hit me full force like fucking Hulk.
Right, that's all it was. He hits the fucking deck, drama queen. Oh no, you fucked me up. Right, and he's fucked for an hour. Makes us phone an ambulance on New Year's Eve. Ambulance fucking.
I was for 2 weeks, you can't.
Ambulance is fucking on its way. He's turning green. He's crying in the bathroom.
I wasn't crying in the bathroom.
Bro, we had to get a guy round that you were having sex with. Right? He had a big brain.
Yeah.
He looked like that Brainiac guy. What's his name?
He looked like a black version of me, let's be real.
No, he looked like a...
Black version of
What's his name? Brainiac?
We're not going to name his name right now.
No, what's the name of the fucking guy with the big brain?
Oh, what, Megamind?
He looked like Megamind. Right, he looked like Megamind, right? He looked like a man that looks like Megamind. That's all I'll say. He's like just a guy with a big fucking head. Looks like Megamind. And I tell you what, actually, this guy had absolute fucking loyalty to Junior. I was impressed that fucking Junior didn't even have...
No. Let's get real. He had loyalty.
We had to help you up to take a piss, mate.
No. If we're gonna
we were ready to hold your dick to piss in a basin in my fucking house.
Right now, he blocked me a week after he told me I didn't respect his fucking boundaries because he's on the fucking helicopter and I accidentally blew him.
Bro, I tell you what, if I fucking had a girlfriend who was sucking dick for money, I would fucking be pretty disposed to block them as well. All I did was help you to the bathroom. Right?
You did not help me to the bathroom. You laughed at me one time and I spent the whole time making myself go to the bathroom.
Right, what I did do was I did call you an ambulance. 3 times I called the ambulance to speed them up because your condition had worsened. And Meghan and Pippa turned up.
Wait, those were the names?
Yeah, like Meghan Markle and Pippa fucking...
I doubt their names were Meghan Markle and Pippa Middleton.
They weren't, but they were Pippa and Meghan. So it's great. And shout out to Pippa and Meghan. Meghan, you're hot. But forget that. I've got a girlfriend. I can't do shit about it. But listen, you turned out to be on some drama queen shit that night.
No, let's get real. After that happened,
you were instantly fine.
Sit down.
How many people?
Shut up, cunt. I managed after they came to sit down on a kitchen chair, have one drink, one cigarette. I went home and I cried myself to sleep.
Look.
Now, so let's be real. You're an autistic bully, you bitch.
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm somewhere on the spectrum.
He feels like my daddy issues. He's gonna bully me like my father.
I'm gonna tell you, this guy calls me stepdad.
I do actually. I'm also their neighbour and I also have a key to the house.
This is getting weirder and weirder by the minute.
No, I feel like it's weirder if I get Chris on this mic right now and I get...
Let's put it on the fucking camera.
Chris, come here.
Get in the camera.
Ready?
No, get out of the fucking camera.
That one time I'm going to get her in one sec. Chris, come here.
No, you're not.
No.
I'm going to do it over here. What?
She's my bodyguard. Guys, this is Christina.
That is Christina.
Smile for the camera.
Show
Come here
me.
on the mic, come here.
Give
Come
him
here.
a fucking hug.
Come here.
Go for it. I'll
Come
get
here.
it out anyway, babe. Don't worry.
Okay.
Half of what you just said will never make
Right,
it.
so you'd come to this cunt, but not
I'm
me.
coming to you.
No, she's coming to you, you
Right, come
donut.
here. Well, let me move all my shit because apparently.
Oh, we love you, Junior.
I love you, Junior.
Guys,
Oh,
this is Chris.
Such a fag behind
No,
me.
she say Budweiser's back.
It's the first and only time I've done this on a podcast. I'm going to come
Go
over.
down to
I'm
Chester
going to give you a
Bum, innit?
fucking hug as well.
No, Chris, you got to come
My
in now.
shit's
Now you
gone
finish your
down.
cigarette.
Oh, he's getting in.
I'm coming in.
Oh god, guys, kill me
I'll
now.
give you a fucking hug. You know? Oh, fuck's sake, bro!
What did he do?
You're
I
fucking me up,
twisted his
son.
nipple.
That's not what I was about. That's not what I was here for,
Chris,
son.
come here. So
Oh my
Chris is
God.
coming on the mic. Say hi.
Hi.
So she's had to have a bunch of our shenanigans.
I had to deal with both of them together. It's not been easy.
Yeah, it's not. I mean.
Having a podcast seemed like such a fucking great idea at one point in my life.
I mean, like, yeah, having a podcast would be good.
But
But like now we're gonna get cancelled.
decisions right now. Honestly, guys, seriously, send help.
No, like you
I'm not
can
talking about
say
police.
send help. You can say send help, but like let's be real.
Pray
If
for
we-
me. Pray for me.
If we're gonna be real, should we
Pray
talk
for
about
me.
that one time we all got drunk in Brighton and we ended up all coming back and I ended up making out? No, we're not gonna talk about that situation.
Oh, we will, because now it sounds
Oh,
like I made out
shit.
with me. Who did you end up making out with? And don't
So
say
I-
names. Don't say names, but who was it?
I ended up making it out with a person that ended up with a hammer in her ass with a mental health institute. So
That's true. But it wasn't anyone in this room, right? But look. Let's leave it at that. Because that is actually true. Radical as it sounds. Julia, I tell you what.
Should we talk about one more subject? For like one more subject before
Yes,
we end this
let's
shit?
do another subject. And
One
I'm
more
going to let
subject
you
before we end.
choose.
If you got any questions, you need to ask Chris. Ask a question in
Yes.
Aston's mic. Not mine. I don't want laggies.
You can ask through me.
I can't think of anything right now.
Ask a question, slut.
Wow.
The questions that I had, and he's asked you.
Right, I'm going to ask you
Ask
a
two
fucking
questions.
question right now. Is there any fucking parting messages you could leave, assuming that, let's imagine that both your family might see it, that my son might one day watch this, right? Just to get to know. No, actually, forget your family. What about my family? Right, I've got a son who lives already, and at some point in his life, he might decide after I'm gone to look back through the content that I've left on my YouTube channel, try and get to know his dad
Give me
a
the
little
question for
better.
anyone that's like either a raging gay bo, a non-raging gay bo, and kind of.
It's got nothing to do with gay bone. If you had something to leave behind about, leave on the record right now, to speak to other people in your own situation, speak
What would
to
I
other
say?
people, what would you say?
That's a loaded question,
It is,
Aston.
yeah.
You fucking arsehole.
Deliberately.
I feel like firstly I would say don't give a fuck what anyone says.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day you're living your life the way you gotta live it, you know.
But you do give a fuck, right? It's
Do
affected
I
you
give a
deeply.
fuck?
I
To
think
the
that
people I
anyone,
can-
if any psychiatrist or psychologist watch this, they would say he's deeply affected by
If
how other
any
people felt about him.
psychiatrist or psychologist watches this, one question only. I'm looking into this camera right here.
Look at it.
Do not section me, please. I am normal. I don't want to get sectioned for the fourth time. Please, don't do this shit.
Do you know what the name of the psych ward they section you in the Lister Hospital in Stevenage is? Because it's called the Aston Ward.
Right, if it helps,
Legit.
and I'm gonna out and everything.
Yeah.
The one in Hemel was called the ADTU unit.
Oh, well.
And they sectioned me in a little white room for the flowers. And then
Did
when
they
I
smell
cried
nice?
for half an
Did
hour,
the flowers smell nice?
no, but when I cried for half an hour,
Wait. Actually, I'm not finished. I want one more. Like, how many times, whilst being a top in gay male sex work, how many times you had a man's shit on your penis? Is that an issue? Do people not
Twice.
clean up properly? Twice.
twice, at one time.
Does that
actually,
make you feel
Christina,
fucking
you would
disgusted?
and by the way, I'm looking at Christina over on this side.
Yaga.
You would know about this. He had irritable bowel syndrome.
IBS.
He said he'd douched So I decided, fuck it, I was
Douchebag.
going to go full hog. I ramrodded him for came out, instead of looking whiter than a neo-Nazi, it looked like...
Jesus Christ.
it came out browner than something that came out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Wow.
I showered and cried for 45 minutes. Realised I couldn't get it off, so I put bleach on my penis.
Oh my God.
Pre-warning, please don't put bleach on your penis.
I mean, I scratched my nuts after chopping chili once, so that's
I'm
bad.
I'm gonna finish the sentence. Please don't put bleach on your penis. I ended up with 3rd-degree burns for about 2 weeks. Also pre-warning, I accidentally masturbated too hard and ended up with 3rd-degree burns. Couldn't have sex for 6 weeks. Ended up dating my ex-boyfriend, and I started blowing him, and then he ended up cheating on me with a woman. So please don't do anything I do.
All right, I think this is the perfect time to sign off.
Please do.
Junior.
Wait. You have a question.
How do you feel about being a gay sex worker? Like, is it just a necessity? Is it something you enjoy? Is it something you see yourself doing in the future? Is it something...
Did you get the whole thing, or do you need to once again?
Want to continue doing? Like, how do you feel about it?
How do I feel about being a gay sex worker?
How does he feel about being a gay male sex worker?
I mean, are we going to go, and I don't mean this in a sex way, are we going to go deep into it?
Yeah.
Or not so deep into it?
Go deep into it.
Let me get comfortable. If we're going to go deep into it, I feel like it was a necessity, because at the end of the day, when you've got a double jeopardy. That way. Daddy issues, and your parents don't speak to you, and your friends send your sex tapes to your sister. Oh yeah, by the way, I should also really start
You did
this.
mention the sex tapes as well.
So I had a sex tape on Twitter of, actually you saw this actually, of me looking like a raging cokehead sucking dick.
Unfortunately, actually, this is true. I was exposed to this content of actually saw his face sucking a dick.
Yeah, that got sent.
It was a revenge porn that happened, and it went through Twitter and
actually, it wasn't a revenge porn. Can I get it correctly?
Yeah, you get it correctly.
So
I just regret ever having seen it. I'm disturbed for life.
So we're gonna call him.
What the fuck, man?
We're gonna call him Steve.
The only problem I have with you is that you suck little dick.
Right? Can I get into
what
this?
The fuck?
So
man?
his name was Steve.
If I was gay, I wouldn't suck that.
Right, let me get into it. His name was Steve. His name was.
That's not. Be careful.
Right, so we're gonna say his name was Steve. He's not actually called Steve, but he's called Steve.
There we go.
Anyway, there's a video of me blowing Steve on Twitter. That video then got sent to my sister called... what we're going to name her?
It looked like me sucking fucking ice cream off of my little finger after I fucking rimmed the fucking...
Right, Ashley, shut the fuck up. Let me finish this thing. So anyway, it got sent to my sister called Chloe. Her name's not Chloe. We're using names.
Fine. Yeah.
Anyway, so after my big old mental breakdown, she called me and told me, by the way, your ex-best friend at the time sent me the video of you blowing a big black guy. So I was like, right, okay, so what now? And she was like, well, A, are you mentally sound? B, what the fuck were you doing? Bear in mind, I was on illicit substances at the time. This is during my mental breakdown. Please seek help if you're having one. If you are having one and you can't...
to mental health services.
Right, okay. I'm going to also say this, just off topic, serious note. If you're having a breakdown and you can't get to...
Pause. If you are actually experiencing anything to do with any of the harsh topics here, mental health breakdowns, drug addiction...
He will list this down for you.
I am going to actually list a bunch of links in the description for people who are experiencing issues
but also,
with
I will say this.
People that are experiencing mental breakdown, people who are experiencing drug addiction, people who are experiencing any kinds of issues to do with the topics discussed in this. Please look and a pinned post on the link in the description on my YouTube channel, and there will be links to services you can access. I can't answer for how good they are, but with the best ones I can find.
Can I also say this?
I'm not a mental health care worker.
Can I speak for 2
At
seconds?
all.
Can I
In
have
fact, no. Junior, I don't think I can, man.
Can I have a J rant for like 10 seconds?
No.
So we're not obviously advocating for prostitution, anything like that. What we're trying to do is yeah, because it's mean you're on a podcast, you fucking cunt.
Okay.
So we're trying to obviously bring light to it because let's be real, people are having to do this and it's out for the news because at the minute the news is currently war and shit.
Yeah.
But people aren't bringing light to
Home.
people
Trouble
hope.
at home.
Not even hope. It's people that are having to do
Troubles
sexual
at home.
relations.
Troubles at home. Right, so they talk about war, big international fucking issues, but no one's talking about the daily struggles of the person failing to fucking pay their energy bills, to eat food, right?
It's
and
not
some
even that,
some of
like-
those people out there going through some shit, people like you're not in a war in fucking Ukraine, and you're not in a war
No, but
in fucking Israel,
No,
but you are going through a war here at home. And no, you're not getting any media fucking coverage, but you're getting coverage here. But listen, one reason, I'm just going to fucking rebut what I just said. I'm not going to put his socials up there. So you know what I don't want to do? I don't want it, because of the fact of the title of this stuff, Junior, because it is gay male sex work, I can't solicit your services, right? Legally.
No, not what I'm saying is
I can't
solicit that because
it won't
I'm
be
not
in the description in the video. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm no. So
can't do
from what I'm saying, I'm not soliciting anymore. I stopped ages ago.
How long ago? When was the last time you had a client?
6 months.
No, it wasn't.
It actually was dead ass.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do with this whole thing and with saying people message me is because I've stopped, and the mental health and it's gonna get fucking dark and a bit serious is if I can find a way through it and find a way to stop, then people who are in a dark period can too.
Yeah.
I just think that I've had no
help. No guidance.
I've had no help during the periods of times I've needed it.
Yeah. I mean, like, let's rebut that a little bit. Actually, if you had no help forever, maybe you wouldn't be here. Maybe, if it carried on that you had no help, if you'd never met me, if you never met Chris, if you never met a bunch of different people,
I would not be here.
That's the fucking thing, right?
That's why I said. That's why I celebrate all my birthdays.
Let's let people meet us now, right, and have the same support, right? Let's save more lives.
I feel like right now it's okay saying, okay, yeah, Jay used to be a gay sex worker, but saying that in a sense, it should be he's got past that. He celebrates his birthday like it means something. Like he actually he knew he wasn't going to make it past a certain amount of age, and now he does. It's always a triumph.
Let's go there. This is where I want to fucking end this. Actually, let's go to that as the ending word. So you no longer do sex work, right?
No.
So you've got past it.
I've got past it. I know that I've got people in my life that I know that care so much about me, and I know that every birthday or every day that I can celebrate, I know that I've got people there for me. Okay, yeah, they don't have to message me every day.
What about people that don't have that? The people that were still there before you. Let's talk to them where you were before, right? The ones who it's not guaranteed they're going to have another 6 birthdays. Let's just say to them, what can you say to them? Like, hold on, wait, just search for those people.
What people who don't think that they've got a birthday in them, and they think that
people that
it's better off that they're gonna.
Yeah, and would think themselves. Like you said that it would benefit everybody if they were gone.
I would say you know, we're gonna list services and
We are. That's in the description.
we're gonna list, obviously.
Look in the description. You will see a list of services to go to. But don't even do that, right? Reach out to me in my DMs. There's an email that is fucking open on the page on YouTube, right? And there is a website soon to come as well.
Well,
but just email us if you need some service or you need to speak to us. If you really are feeling that hard down and low down, get in touch because he will be there as a resource. I have to be careful legally not to, solicit like what we've been talking about. But like, if you want to get in contact with him directly and you feel like you need it, send their fucking email, right?
Well, no, it's the thing. So if someone desperately needs it, like, I will happily give my Instagram to anyone because at the end of the day, I see it as this. I have been through the worst fucking times ever from anyone. If I can help someone, that's my day made. Because if someone's going through the same shit I've been through, and they're gonna contemplate the same thing I've had to contemplate.
Sure.
That ain't gonna sit right with me. If I have to give my Instagram, okay, yeah, it's fucking unhinged. But if I have to give that out to someone and they DM me going, Jay, I need help. This is my problem. Can you give me advice? I will do the best I can. I'm not a mental health person. I'm not anything. I am just a person who will help because at the end of the day, I'm getting over the breach that I've had to get over for fucking years.
Yeah.
And if I can do that, I know that I can help fucking anyone else because I've helped. Like, I've had to ask for help. I've not got that. If I know how to give help and how to tell someone to get them, then I will happily do that. I will happily sit in my bed all day, give someone help, and if I can't give them help, I will fucking not sleep until that I know that they are safe and that they are getting the help they get.
Right, so guys, I just want to say this right now, based on what he's just said, from my own perspective, I will obviously put the official links for what is available, and I think health services have got better of late. That will be there in the description, so have a look at that. If any of the issues we've discussed here have touched you at your heart, you feel you need it, if you feel like you want to get in touch with Juno directly, there is an email address you can link into my bio. I just want to put a full disclosure here. I am not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, and I don't promise to put anyone in contact with anybody else or disclose anyone's socials, but those links in the description will be there. This is really powerful stuff. I'm going to let you give an ending statement. I should make very clear, just because of what's been said here, just because it's to random members of the public who might resonate with these things that comes out in shorts and promotion for the channel, etc. I'm not here as a person that offers psychology or therapy, and I'm not here to link people up with those people either. I will list in the description a bunch of things that are relevant, and if it's not good enough, people are more than welcome to leave comments or email that inbox and ask for requests, but I will decide on a discretionary basis whether I think it's in their best interest. I don't think I'm going to find it in anyone's best interest to not go to the official help that's available, to call the NHS, go to your GP, actually go to a private psychiatrist, psychologist. If you have these issues, I'll leave some links in the description. Despite what we've said here today, even if you feel that way about it, I'm here to create. I'm not a journalist. I'm here to create good content, talk about things that I think are interesting and compelling, and just create that content. I'm not trying to be a journalist to say that what we're covering is true or accurate, or that we offer any kind of help. I don't offer any of that, and I'll give the necessary warnings, and I'll give the necessary links, but that is it. I'll let Junior finish on his last point, and we'll go from there. Is there an outro you've got to say to people who are maybe considering coming out of the closet, and maybe have just come out of the closet, and their parents have rejected them? Maybe people that are on the verge of sex work. What do you actually have to say to people that are are heading on the same road you've headed into, without trying to promote DMs or any of that, because that's not going to happen. Yeah.
I would say do it, because at the end of the day, don't be scared, because you are who you are. And if you're holding it back because you think that your parents are scared, or you think that they won't accept it, or no one will accept it, I would say just fucking do it. Because at the end of the day, you need to make yourself happy. Because if you don't make yourself happy, then it's going to be you, and I'm going to say this brutally honest, it's going to be you in a grave 6 feet under. You're going to need to be happy with yourself, because otherwise you're not going to be happy with yourself. You're going to live a life that's going to be a lie. You're going to live a life that's going to not be the way you want to live it. If you're gay, or if you're bisexual, if you're trans, if you're anything like that, you need to come out as that.
And do it.
And do it. You might be scared, but at the end of the day, it's all going to be okay.
I've always said this. If I was fucking gay, I wouldn't stay in the closet. If I was gay, I'd come out as gay, because I'm a human being that likes to have sex. So if I'm gay, I'm going to admit that I'm gay, and I'm going to go have loads of great gay sex.
If I was scared to come out to my parents and have all of that fallout, I would still be straight, and I would still be in that fucked situation.
Yeah.
I've come out, and I've come out on the better end of it. I think I have, because at the end of the day, I'm 23. I'm stronger than what I used to be.
Yeah.
I know how to control shit I need to control. I've got the people that I want in my life that can accept me.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm one of the many success stories, because there's many people, and I can name fucking loads of names.
Don't know so many names.
Who are, who were so scared to not come out. And they ended themselves because they couldn't comprehend a life past.
It's dark.
Themselves.
I mean, you look at Alan Turing, who invented the computers. You look at Freddie Mercury. These people all existed. They're great, amazing, genius characters who contributed so much to this world. And like, there's tragic case studies of like where, because of its illegality.
I would say just do it. At the end of the day, there's no.
But we're talking about coming out, right? Not about sex work.
No, I'm saying about coming out. Just do it. There's no
find
way.
Your people that accept you for who you are.
There's so many groups. There's so many places nowadays that will accept it. You can do one Facebook search, one fucking Google search,
one Grindr search.
Not Grindr. Shut the fuck up, Aston. Can I go through my rant and you shut the fuck up for a sec? There's like one like Facebook, Google, fucking anything, and you could happily just find someone. There's like no. There's like.
Do you know what? I am going to interrupt your rant, but I am going to say, do you know what? As much as it seems like a load of random shit that you just said, this is really powerful and really important, because do you know what? If you're a gay person out there who's struggling with the idea of coming out to their family, or if you're a gay person out there who's just come out and their family hasn't accepted them, or you're a gay person out there who couldn't even possibly dream of coming out because of their family, because of what's going to happen. Truth is, and this is what I personally believe, and I'm not telling you what to do or not to do, I personally think that the version of you in your wildest fucking dreams is the real you.
I will also just say this. Don't get your tit pierced.
Okay. The person...
Sorry,
put it there.
Fuck that up. Sorry to fuck that up, guys, but like...
The person of you in your wildest dreams is the real you. And if there's people around you, you have to pretend to be someone that you're not, and that you think you have to pretend that you're not, whether it's your mum, your dad, your kids... You decide in your own personal life which ones of them you keep under the illusion, but actually, deep down, allow yourself to be the hero in your own story, the person that you deep down really want to be. Whether you want to be famous, whether you want to be special, whether you want to be ruthless, whatever you want to be, you go and be that. Be that to your children, be that to your parents, be that to your fucking society. And if you have to sacrifice the love of anyone out there who doesn't love who they think you are, or they want you to be, You go and be what you want to be.
Can I see 3
And
flavor
find the
spoilers?
people out there in life
Can I see 3
and
flavor
find the
spoilers?
people out there in life that will accept you for the person that you want to be. And when you've done that, that's you living up to your potential and to your dreams and your aspirations. And I think that you don't have to live up to the fucking character you've been cast in the soap opera of your life that other people decided that's who you were. Junior has the last note. He's the fucking
I
boss.
have 3 actually. Can I say 3?
Let's let him go.
Right, you're gonna need to like Frank yourself for like 2
Forgive
minutes.
me, my loves.
Right, you're gonna have to Frank yourself. Can you do that for a second?
I'm gonna hide under this desk.
Oh my god, right, okay, so like point
And
1.
frankly,
Oh my God.
I'm not impressed with what you're about to say already.
Right, can I get to my points right now? Right, so point 1, just right, there's saying, can I like wipe, because it's saying on my mic right now, can I like wipe
Touch
it off?
the mic.
There we go, I got it off. Right, so point 1, like, if you've got a receding hairline,
Your
like I
hair
have.
doesn't look so hot.
Right, can I finish my sentence before you like fucking talk right now, you asshole?
Okay.
Please
Okay.
don't be afraid to shave it off. You might look like an egg, you might look like a neo-Nazi, but please, if you've got a bald head or like a receding hairline, please shave it off. Look at me. I ain't scared of that shit. Do it. You're gonna be fine. The second point that I'm gonna add right now, right, and this is gonna be really
Yaga.
oh my god, but it's gonna be really serious. If you fall in love with a straight guy, please just block him, because at the end of the day, you know he's got a girlfriend. Don't fucking do it to yourself. You're gonna cry in the shower for 2 weeks. Don't
That's
do
another
it.
conversation there that we never had this time, which maybe we'll have a round 2
Podcast
one day.
part 2, guys.
We'll go there.
Right, third point, and the most important point, the most serious point.
I doubt I dare do a round 2 with this guy.
Right, actually, I'm going to actually throw a punch in there. Right, third point, right, if your parents call you the F-sir or anything, fucking walk away, because at the end of the day, your happiness is what all that counts. Because if we're going to be, you know, truly full honest right now, you don't want to, you know, lead a life of unhappiness, because what's that going to end up going to happen? You get end up like Hannah Baker or some shit.
Wow.
You want to end up the most happiest you can be. If you can't physically have a child and you find a guy that you love, or a woman, fucking do that shit. Just remember that there's people out there that will happily love you. Like, right now I can't believe I've said that, fucking Aston, the ADHD bipolar motherfucker. And I've got, you know, Chris. Like, they're the best people I can actually have right now. Like, if I was gonna have anyone else, I would happily choose them, because at the end of the day, they're the most accepting. They're the most ones that can deal with my revolving door of men. You know, that changes every 2 weeks, and they were like, okay, cool. So this is who you got. This is who you got.
I can confirm.
You know, if I went past friends I've had before, then they always, you know, definitely contradicted who I was, and you know, you've got to find your people, and it takes time, but if you can find them, stick with them.
And Junior, you know, just to reiterate what you said, find your people. I think it's a real fucking powerful message to end on. You're also part of my people. I'm glad I found you as well. Never mind P, this is the end. I'm gonna fucking opt out of this. We're done.
Yeah, I need to piss.
Yeah, well, I've just spilled her drink.
So Aston just queefed over himself. By the way, it's just wine.
I've just done it, right? It's all over. This is the end of it. I hope you guys take all that messages by. Look into the description if you do need to.
Can I say one message before we go?
I'll give you one brief message.
Okay. Rory's law. Remember, if you find a guy you love, fuck him without a condom. Fill him with the children.
Wow. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Junior, thank you for doing this. It's been a long time in the making. Thank you for sharing quite so much as you did. Enjoy your piss.
Thanks. I'm gonna Like, my phone's coming out my arsehole.
While you leave and get your phone out your arse, I'm going to say one last thing to the audience.
Wait,
guys, look in the description if any of these issues that we've mentioned not here tonight is going to affect you personally. I'm going to do my best to add links to services. If anybody who watches this doesn't feel like there's enough services there, you've got a suggestion of one that has helped you, feel free to comment. I will star and pin that comment with a link to the services that are needed. But other than that, look, I'm not here as a journalist, and I'm not here to try and be held to the same account as someone who's trying to say that they're trying to be a journalist. I'm just trying to have good conversations of content that's relevant in the world today, and every person on my podcast is responsible for their own words. So Junior's words are his own, my words are my own. I don't promote or stand by the words or views of anyone that is a guest or anyone who even I reference or quote in my podcasts. My views are my own. I'll stand by my own record, and I fucking stand by people no matter where they come from in the world. It's the Humanity Podcast. It's about humanity. That is a human. As far as I'm concerned, any fucking human has his right to say his piece, to give his own opinion, and whether you disagree with it or not, freedom of speech, ladies and gentlemen. We're all allowed to say our own piece, have our own opinion. Goodbye. Hope you enjoy the episode. Feel free to comment. Feel free to do whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit anyway. La 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 la.